and I've pressed record, and we're just in the starting soon screen till you spicy. But they can hear us.
I see that you've got still my chat log is still sitting there from the one from this morning.
Oh yeah. I've got all of the chat from this morning.
Let's do that.
Yeah, Crystal, you're literally playing For the King, and me and my brother were playing For the King today on stream.
Dono was just like, they were playing this game. I think I convinced him to get it on Switch. Blah 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 blah. And I was just like, oh yeah. What's it like? He's like, oh, it's like turn-based D&D, literally. I'm like, oh okay, check it out. And then I'm on his, and I'm there like, I must have this. I'm like, or do you just want me to play on your Switch so that we unlock all the things? And he's like, there's multiplayer, and I went.
You're like instantly in my bag. Yeah, I might have to buy it a second time on the Switch just so I can play with you guys.
It's so nice to actually have some games on the Switch that I can just curl up with when my hips aren't working. Or, to take to the hospital with me.
Yeah.
Hey,
True.
Hey, Beck.
Yeah. Is there secret typing happening? Because people, shiver me timbers. You fucking got me.
I love the fact that it happened the moment you leaned in too.
It really did. Although for some reason it visually didn't appear, but I definitely heard it.
I definitely can't hear it, but I've got it right in the corner of my eye. I saw the little text chat move and went, huh?
Oh, that's so funny. Thank you, Vixen. Thank you for supporting our recordings, our streams, our D&D live. D&D life. Oh man, I'm nervous.
You have no reason to be nervous. Wait, hang on. I'm sorry. What I meant to say is you have every reason to be nervous. That's what it was.
I don't know. I don't quite. Vander can do all the talking this time. It's fine.
What?
You can do all the talking, right? You can do the charisma. You could riz.
No.
Well, okay. How about if we put it this way? Vander's got a fair amount of sass, am I right?
A little bit.
And, decent charisma.
Yes.
Yeah. So, for some reason, the community seems to like calling charisma this riz thing, right? I don't know where the fuck that come from. I don't care about it. But how about if you're riz-sassining people?
That's pretty good.
That was good.
He is the assassin of the team.
He's the riz-assassin.
Session 28. Can you believe I bought this to replace the other one. Oh, it was February last year, but it's like I'm over halfway now. I'll have to buy a new one soon. I really like this one because I don't know if you've seen my book. But it looks like this.
Right, that was that one.
That's very pretty.
It's like not because it's the blur, but it's like it feels mosaic. It's very cool.
Cool.
And it has magnet. Oh. And I have a new dice. A single dice. Because it's a handmade one. That I got at Armageddon. It's got, oh, you can't see the bag. It's got a little
Just a
Tui
white
on
bag.
it.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Oh,
That's
cute.
awesome.
They're called songbird dice. And it's like, oh no.
Oh, chunky.
It's chunky, it's blue with like a purple, like, I don't know, silver shimmer. Yeah.
Oh, that's really pretty.
I like it. And I rolled a 13. That's about no for an average. That's pretty good.
I named one of my characters Beck, and she's had the worst luck.
I will be right
I
back.
love
I'm
that.
sorry.
No, you're fine. We're just starting soon.
She's died the most. She can't roll for shit. Like she just has the worst luck.
So wait,
Is
are
this
you
a Baldur's
playing?
Gate
Are you playing
character?
solo? No, this is For the King.
Yeah, I'm playing solo.
You would love
for-
that
for a
game,
bit.
Robert. You should get For the King.
That's a lot of fun.
It's
Never heard of it.
it's like tabletop turn-based, D&D-esque, and the more you play, you unlock lore, and then when the main menu, you can use the lore points to like unlock more stuff for the game. But it's not like there's no pay to play. It's all like, you know, you play it and you earn, and it's
Unlock.
very fun.
And
the King
the,
1 or
and the
2?
unlocks make it
So
mean that you get
literally
more
2 came
powerful
out
as
this
you go
week.
along.
I own both.
Oh god, there's a second one as well.
Yeah, it literally came out this week. It's brand new as of the 3rd.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Pern said that I'll be playing solo until we get our third.
For the King 2's on 10% discount at the moment.
You could get it. We could play it. I'm trying to convince Gumstitch to get it as well. But yeah, it's very addictive. It's the music is whimsical. I might actually go down and download a bunch of their music to use for stream stuff. Goodness, back.
Sounds like a lie.
Nesta's back again. We're currently experiencing an ad break. Once the ad break's over, we could start.
All right. Who wants to do the recap today?
I feel like I did it last time.
You did.
Was it bad?
No, you got most of it. There were only a couple things that needed editing, shall we say?
Yes.
Most of it was pretty spot on.
I wrote 1, 2, 3, 4.5 pages. Who wants to do recap? Cause everyone, Gumstitch is here.
Hi, Gummy.
It's a gum stitch. Hello, gum
Stitch.
stitch.
Gumstitcheroo.
I don't like it when my gums are stitched, but I certainly like a gum stitch.
Hello, Gummy!
Hi.
Is a Gumstitcher a dentist?
Probably just a surgeon.
Robert's face was the best thing.
Actually thinking of someone stitching my gums makes me
Yeah.
squeamish.
No, I'm a YouTuber. That's right. He is a
Yeah,
YouTuber.
professional.
Go watch
YouTuber,
Astroneer,
right? Like,
Gumstitch, YouTube. Go now.
so good. So good. I finally managed to get around to watching 39 this morning.
Emotions, right?
It's good. So not what I was expecting at all from that game. At all.
Right?
I love
I'm like,
it.
oh, the game go deep. Okay.
Why you gotta hit me like that, game?
Yeah. Punch me. It's in my emotion.
Although the sort of semi-swerve that it was, I loved because that's exactly the sort of bullshit that I love.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Anyway, how you doing, Gumstitch? Right. We didn't have anybody volunteer for a recap. I see Frey is muted.
She's like, please
I
don't
did-
pick me. Please
I
don't
did
pick me.
nominate her last time, mostly because she wasn't here the time beforehand.
Which was funny.
I think she's BRB, right? That's why.
All right, paper,
That's
scissors,
right,
rocks, Vixen, and Vander, go. Paper, scissors,
Oh.
rock. Come on.
I don't. I didn't write enough notes for this. It's kind
Come
of
on.
important. Damn it.
It's alright, I'll do it today. I wrote 554 words.
Jeebus criminy.
I wrote half a page.
Wow, that's actually
That's something.
that's pretty good. Let's be honest. Oh. Yeah, to be fair, there was a lot of talking and a lot of characters and a lot of things happened last time, so
Mhm.
there's both a lot of stuff that was worth taking note of, and a lot of stuff that was probably not worth taking note of. But I have the valuable information of knowing what was noteworthy and what only seemed noteworthy. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm probably not the best one to recap this one.
It's up to us.
Alrighty.
Let's go.
So we'd just hit up the mining town where we were going to sell our little slave dude to kind of get in. Whole plan there has changed because the mayor dude that we were going to kind of handwritten letter over to that we've been recommended and stuff. He's dead in a mine. And the guy we're actually here to investigate is now running the town.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome switch up.
Yes, mayor.
Being dead in the mine has opened a whole new vein of things because.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Gold star.
Thank you. Because there. Oh, hello, little toddler. How are you? Got you a daddy. So there's been an accident down in the mines after finding a new vein that has killed the mayor and quite a few other people. And they're kind of explaining it away as there was some new blood down there in the mines who didn't want to wait for the reinforcements from the stone mages. They just wanted to go strike it rich straight away. Now there's a few, with Vander leading the chats and little Hetty toddling after him, they've been chatting to a few different witnesses that were there.
And then the
Sorry,
DM
the
wanted
demand for a book to be read. Apparently my notes aren't that interesting.
Oh.
Ah.
I think your notes are great.
And the main issue is there's a big creature that can go in and out of the. Oh dear. In and out of the rock walls themselves that have been terrorizing the miners and chomping on people. And they chomp on people and go back into the stone, and the actual people can't go through the stone. So there's bloody bits of gore and blood
Sweet.
everywhere. It still remains to be answered whether the stone mages themselves could have summoned one of these creatures or controlled it or anything like that. That's a line of questioning we were looking at. But we're trying to work out what the heck's going on down there. We've switched from, trying to get into the slavers by trying to sell our services as, I was going to say missionaries, not quite missionaries. Mercenaries, that's the other M word, excellent. Yeah. To go in and clear out this creature. We have come across Mr. Dude's wife that we want to talk to. She's a fortune teller, good for morale, always with Mazol. I always forget his name, sorry.
It's Faraz Marat, but everybody just refers to him as Marat. Yeah.
Marat?
Yeah.
Who also has a fucking son. The guy we're investigating has a son and a wife that love him dearly and very close. We have just been last session basically asking lots of questions. There was a little slip up in one of the stories that didn't quite match someone else's story, with Marat having been in a different part of the rescue party than he led us to believe. But we didn't follow that line of questioning because we kind of missed that. And the one of us that caught it was coring quietly in the corner, but wasn't there. But now the night has worn on,
And
Our
you
investigation grows deep, and we've actually ended up at the table of Marat. We're at the cool kids table now.
That's
So
what I wrote too.
we'll see how it just goes.
You sideways threatened or insinuated that the person that gave you the information about Marat being there would not survive the night, and so they, being a skittish person, took off before any of that could actually be realized and followed up. So yeah. But yes, that is about how we finished it up. You guys, people are sort of filtered out for the night. You had various other people who might have been working some other shifts, whether they might be guards on the watchtowers at the front gate, some of the other miners who might have been closing up some things, coming in, getting some food or a drink or maybe, and then just sort of moving off. Most of the general populace of Ruavant have headed off for the night to begin their day afresh tomorrow. So you are at a table with a variety of people who Marat did very briefly go around and sort of somewhat introduce some of them. Oh no, wait, I did that. He didn't. I'm going to get him to do that. Is what I'm going to get him to do. But you all ended up at the table, including the currently drunken, passed out werewolf captive, Harkison.
Captive's
And,
a strong word.
Yeah. Well, that was why I was like,
He's
except
crazy.
for Nofrit, who decided that she wanted to keep a marginal distance, and so was sitting on a bench. At
Well,
a
everyone keeps
table
telling me I'm
one over.
squishy.
Not the
And-
only squishy sister at the moment, though.
True.
Mm.
And before we finish for the night, there was just a very brief sort of a thing about you guys being unsure about why food and drink and everything was free here. So Marat was essentially explaining that this is one of the more profitable places of income for the Summer Realms, with the fact that it is one of the few places within the Sunreach Mountains that a mineral that can be created into red steel can be found. And red steel is very specifically found, much like silver oak, only in the Summer Realms. So it is a very valuable resource, very valuable commodity, and so the people that come and work here are incredibly well looked after, and they don't tend to bring in, well, criminals, and it is still hard labour. People still work very hard, but people are treated very well as an incentive to continue to work very hard.
It's like mining in Australia. Fly in, fly out. You get all the buckaroos.
It's yeah, except in this, instead of just getting paid well, all of these things you are getting, which in a lot of, I believe, sort of fantasy style settings of mine is not really a particularly happy or lucrative place to work. Ruavant itself is just a little different because of the nature of the country and what is going on there. So, but that was about where we ended that. We were deciding whether you guys were going to stick at the table, whether you were going to head off to your room, which had been sorted out for you, and we decided you were going to remain.
Yeah.
So, after a little spiel about that, Marat, with Innistra beside him, and Jack lying down, splayed out on the bench, head in her lap, he's doing what he has been doing most of the night, where he just has his one arm and he's just kind of resting his chin on his fingers and in his hand, just sort of looking at you all as you're sort of there. After having finished that, you have got the dwarf, Grit, who seems to have calmed himself down a little bit after the drinking and the fact that there's newcomers at the table, because he was wildly going on with stories and gesticulating all over the place, while the half-elf captain of the guard beside him, Eblin, was just stoically taking it all in and watching you guys and just making sure that he wasn't knocking things over.
Moving things out of flailing range.
Yeah. And at the table, the only other person that's kind of left at the moment, apart from you lot, is the quartermaster of Ruavant.
The snotty
The bespectacled elf that Nofrit had a somewhat brief interaction with. Has moved over to this table with a number of their sheets of paper, and they're still far more interested in that than anything else that is going on, but they have situated themselves at this main table. You do sort of hear that as things are kind of winding down for the evening, the orc behind the counter is walking around and heading towards the table. And now that he's out from behind the counter, you can see he's a fairly tall fellow, but he's also kind of relatively thin. Like, he's not a particularly muscular orc, but he does have these sort of unnaturally large shoulders and a pretty big paunch, now that you can sort of see him out from behind this counter. And as he's sort of moving towards the table, he pulls off this backwards beret, and just this tumble of purple hair comes down and hits his shoulders. And he almost has like that sort of TV ad sort of model sort of swish as he sort of gets this almost sweaty hair out from under the beret. As he sort of brings over a plate of food and a big jug himself, and sort of looks and seats himself across from the quartermaster and sort of plunks it down, and you just hear this as he sort of just settles in for himself after obviously having finished his shift. So in this brief sort of a pause, is there anything you guys would like to say? Anything you'd like to do? What do you want to do at this moment? Thank you, OM. Have fun with your game.
Yeah, have fun. Good luck. Did
You're
we?
playing a lovely game of AI D&D today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm.
Frey, what did we do with our guy? Is Frey back? Hello, Frey.
He's next to Frey at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's still
she
with
moved
us.
him from your
One
table.
thing
Gnome
down.
handled him over to the current table, and he's just kind of half passed out.
Slumped.
He has kind of semi woken up from that, but he's very just kind of, he's had so much to drink now, he's just kind of out of it and blearily looking around the table and
He's
not
eaten-
taking it in. Like any moment now, his head's likely to hit that table again.
He's eaten food. He's had drink. He's very, very sleepy.
He's enjoying what he is anticipating is going to be one of his last meals, but yes.
Oh God, that's.
He has no faith in us at all.
Or maybe he has too much faith in something else that has spooked him about this place.
True, because
Mm.
something
He
I
did
forgot to
say.
mention in the recap was that
Mhm.
he noticed someone here and he's kind of
Two-
resigned that he's gonna die.
Two of the party members have both noticed a slight reaction he has had that has made him a little bit more defeatist than what he had been prior.
And it's not us related.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
currently
it's
have him
like
captive, which is
It's
weird.
something or someone since you arrived in Ruavant has him a little spooked.
He saw something in the group of people and then just immediately went,
Yep. Well, that's it. I'm done. Time to enjoy what I've got left. Yep.
guess I'll die.
Yep. But anyway, yes. So yeah, he is at the table with everybody except Nofrit.
Okay. I guess
So are we at the table with Bird, or are we heading over there?
You were at
I've-
that main
yeah,
table.
we've
there were
sat
a few
down.
interactions. Yeah, there were a few interactions we had at the end of last session. You guys are at that table, so things have already kind of begun. It's just a matter of whether in this small interlude, after he's explained the whole red steel and why the town is looked after, and then the orc chef
Yeah, 'cause
sort
we
of
talked-
joins you. There's kind of just this brief sort of a pause as everybody kind of settles into this new arrangement of people. So if there's
So-
anything you guys wanted to interject or do, yep.
So what you're saying is if I get some red steel, and I get some silver oak, and I make a dagger out of them, I'll have best summer round dagger.
It would be interesting combining that metal and that wood together. I'm sure there's probably artisans out there who have already created them, but I can also guarantee you they'll probably be pretty expensive.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Not a bad
yes,
thought.
Of course.
But that is some of the finest materials the Summer Realm has to offer for crafting, so yes, you would. A fan of daggers, are we? And his eyes just
Yes.
do immediately dart to sort of like you've got that almost bandolier of daggers on. So
I collect a few.
I can see that. And I'm assuming particularly proficient with them.
Think so. I do okay. What is your weapon of choice?
Well, before I lost my other arm, I was a man of the spear. Since then, I prefer to use a short blade.
Oh, you can use one-handed spears.
You can. it's not quite the same when you've been wielding a spear two-handed for most of your martial life. I just kind of preferred the feel of the balance felt off to me, trying to wield a spear one-handed instead of two. So now I just use the short blade.
Your martial life.
Yes.
You were a soldier?
Oh, I was very much a soldier. Yes, it was my calling, for I found a new one. Speaking of callings,
Mining called you away from marshalling?
it was not mining that called me away from being a soldier, no. It was more being tired of seeing the ravages of war and what it did to people who didn't deserve it.
The losses do mount up.
They
They strain
do,
on
and
you after a while, yes.
no matter how thick-skinned and hard-hearted you try to be, there are just certain things you see in that sort of life that can change your perspective.
Insight check.
Go for it.
Does he actually seem
Let's roll! Insight check!
regretful about shit he's done? Or is
Does he
this
seem
a
regret-
play? Is this like a play for I'm damaged goods?
Can I like aid her when I say, yes, innocence lost and innocence abused and taken advantage of is always hard on the heart. Just kind of, because I want to insight
Poke the
check him
bear?
and see if he's like
Interesting.
changed on the innocence. Because if he's a slave,
Do you want to give her advantage, or do you want to do an insight check yourself with that?
I'll give you advantage. 2 dice.
Okay.
You can do this.
Yeah, I'll let you choose. Because upon saying something like that, he would look at you, and it's kind of like, I think go for it, Bex. And the response he would sort of give you after just this brief pause would be, unfortunately, war does tend to take innocence from everyone, regardless of your circumstance. So yes.
14.
14?
Yeah.
There is, as with almost all interactions you've had with him, there is definitely an element of truth here. It does seem as though whatever has happened to him has genuinely given him this perspective on life. However, it may still not necessarily be all of the truth. Like, whether there is more to it, it's kind of hard to tell with that. Give me one moment. Yeah, he's definitely maybe not necessarily regretful about choices he's made,
Yeah.
but his perspective on his life has definitely changed. And when he says that his calling has changed, he's being genuine about it. As to how that has changed and how he's changed the path of his life and whether, what it may have been, there might be more to that. But for that, the biggest thing you get is his regrets about war are not centered in anything he's done. It's just about war itself.
Understood.
And it did play a major part in him changing the path of his life. Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of callings, I don't think we ever truly got to find out about yourselves. Do we fall on the realm of adventurers or sellswords?
Yeah.
Both.
Both.
I can only
Yours
assume
is
you've done reasonably well for yourself.
Sometimes.
So far, so good. We're all alive, mostly.
Oh, you look like you've done all right for yourself. I've known a few adventurers in my time. Not a huge amount. I spend most of my time with soldiers and the common folk, but I'm given to believe that many groups of adventurers tend to go by something. Are there any notable deeds that you've performed? Anything we might know you for? A name you might go by that we may have heard?
It's an interesting question, because we had this very similar conversation with another group that was having trouble coming up with a name.
I could sense this is always hard to reach when there are many minds in the group. But we like to think, casual chaos. We tend to roll along those kind of lines.
Interesting choice. I'm sure many ordered and disciplined establishments would welcome a group that encourages chaos happily into their ranks, right?
I like to think that if they have need in our services, they are in quite disarray.
Which is also, I guess, where the sellsword part comes in, right?
It does.
But the sellsword kind of gets attached to our own morals, So we don't feel like we have to sell ourselves or those we love, without some moral guidance.
Money for the right cause and not just to the highest bidder.
Indeed.
I understand.
Like potentially helping some poor stranded miners.
That does seem within our wheelhouse, yeah.
Very, very true. Well, we will have to discuss a little bit about that tonight or tomorrow. I think I've already got an idea on who we might be able to send with you to take you into that part of the mine. Somebody to show you where it all happened. Maybe give you a bit of aid if you require it. I can't spare too many people, but if you are going to take this upon yourself, it's going to make the other things we need to take care of a lot easier too. It'd be nice to have some professional help rather than risking the ones of our own.
This is fair. So I did still have a few more questions. I've been asking a few things around, and some things I
Yes.
still do not know.
As I have noticed you making the round, I was going to ask how you found things here. I saw you having a few chats with a few different people. You discovered anything? You'd mingled well. Have you enjoyed your night?
I've had quite a bit of fun, yeah.
I'm glad to hear it.
I always love meeting new people. You never know what's under the surface until you actually talk to them.
Very true. But more
Not
questions? you
ironic
said?
at all as a
Nope.
changeling.
Nope. Please, more questions. If you have them.
One of them mentioned that, great, you should have known the creature was there.
What? Sorry? What? I was totally paying attention to something that was not what was going on at all.
I'm glad.
Insight check.
Oh,
Is
you
he
mean that-
pretending to be drunk?
Go for it. Yep, no.
Press
Yep.
nothing.
Absolutely.
5! I have no
5?
idea who this
Perhaps
person is.
trusted.
5. He appears to be pretty damn drunk.
Yeah, he's drunk.
Yep.
Okay.
It also appears that this is a relatively common state of being for him.
That's why I don't trust it.
Fair enough. I wish you'd rolled higher, but hey.
Damn.
I was just gonna say,
Used my luck on the damn horse.
was he talking about not paying attention to what he should have with this conversation, or was that alluding to the? Can I insight check?
Do you
whether-
also want to make a... Okay, as to whether he was paying attention to something else,
the
or
best
what?
name for the street.
Wait, what are you actually insight checking here?
whether he is kind of making a play on, oh, he just wasn't paying attention enough to see the danger in the mine because he wasn't paying
Paying
attention.
attention now or paying attention then? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, go for it.
As he already answered the question.
Yes. Yep. That's a good question. I like that.
17.
17. He was definitely talking about now. Yeah, he was definitely talking about being in the moment. He is looking around completely confused because he heard his name. So you get the impression he was not listening to the conversation that you guys were having at all. He was completely absorbed in something else.
I shall repeat myself then.
All right. Yep. No, please do.
Why didn't you know the creature was down there?
I don't think any of us knew the creature was down there.
But you are a stone mage?
Yes. Yep. That's me.
How does that work? Do you like commune with the stone, or feel its vibrations, or?
You can commune with the stone. But unfortunately, a lot of what the stone has to say is spoken so slowly.
Oh my
It
God,
takes
that's
so long to actually interpret what it's got to say, because by the time our little particular reserve of energy to understand what the stone is saying and communicate with, they're done. Stone exists for so long. Do you understand that time in a conversation is very, very different for them? I'm sorry, what was the original question?
That actually makes sense.
So you just cannot sense a creature that is in the stone?
Look, I'd been down there a number of times beforehand. There
I would
was
assume
no
so.
evidence the creature existed. There were no tracks of it. There was nothing. Okay, and a creature like that, look. And he sort of stops and looks around just briefly at everybody at the table, most of which are now paying attention to him, probably except for the quartermaster.
For the
and
first
Jack.
time tonight, people are actually listening to him.
Actually listening to what he's got to say instead of him just being there. And he sort of looks around and goes, look, I've had this conversation with those people here. I know what that creature is, but it's different to what I've experienced in the past. If we had known that it was down there, there would have been signs, there would have been some evidence that it existed beforehand. But our first indication that that creature even existed was when it attacked. Now that is unnatural.
Would you say that, someone could have made it appear there rather than getting there naturally?
Could have been moved by someone.
What if it was running away from something? Just came here. But all that aside, what is the creature?
All right. Have you guys ever heard of a Bullete?
No.
Have I?
All right. A nature check.
Okay.
Yep.
15.
15. Especially because of where you're from with Terragonia, there are differing species of Bullete or Bullete that exist within the world. You are familiar with a style of Bullete that actually exists within the sands of Terragonia. It doesn't burrow or swim through rock, it swims through the sand. And in Terragonia, they are known as sand sharks. Most other places, they are known as land sharks.
This is serious notes I'm taking? Okay.
Yep, if you want. But yes, they do exist in the world, and it is purely because you have known of the sand sharks that you would be understanding what the word Bullete means to him. Who was he with it? But creatures like that, they don't tend to just appear from somewhere. They have established hunting grounds. Okay. When they move in, okay, there is clear signs that a Bullete exists.
Okay.
That it is coming. There are tremors, there are cracks, there are traces of its passing. And the stone itself has a sense of being afraid. Okay, we can feel it. It's like an aura in the air when you get a creature like a Bullete around. Because stone typically doesn't really have a lot of feelings and emotions. Yes, sure, we're a mine. We throw our pickaxes into it. but on the grand scale of things, it's like getting a tiny wee mosquito bite. It really doesn't mind too much. Something like a Bullete, that disrupts it. It's like it's swimming into the veins of the stone, and it's burrowing its way through and clotting things up. It knows that it's there. We had no indication this creature was around. None whatsoever. And I have encountered quite a number in my time back in the home. So I know what I'm talking about. As far as somebody bringing it here, fuck, I don't want me that person. I've seen a lot of bullets. This thing was large. It was large. Like, we've not seen one that size, which means either it's been specifically fed or grown or enhanced in some way to get to that size, or it's just a mutated version of a natural life form. I don't know. What were the other questions about? I kind of got a little bit carried away with the.
Well,
What was it? And he sort of looks at Iblan and he continues sort of like, what was going on? What? And Iblan's just shaking his head, going,
Where am I?
just reiterate the question if you want more answers from him. He gets a little caught up sometimes.
It's actually very interesting because if there are no signs, that it would maybe be that it was just teleported here or come through by some other means.
Right! It's a conspiracy! It's what I've been saying!
Are there signs now?
I mean, probably. Haven't been back down there to find out.
Has anyone been back down there?
He sort of looks across the table at Marat, who's just been watching this conversation interaction. We have not.
My mentioning someone bringing it here, can I insight check Marat to see if he knows anything more that he's not saying?
If there was any look on his face or anything like that about, yeah,
or
go for it.
any like flinch
Any sort of
or
reaction
sharpening
at
of
all.
eyes, yeah.
Yep. Go for it.
Safe travels, Gummy.
Yeah, safe travels, go. Yep, go for it.
I don't like
19.
19.
I love Hetty.
She's got a good insight, actually.
No, she just seems luckier on the dice.
Oh,
than
lucky on the
Sickest.
different characters here.
This man, at this particular moment, seems to have a face set in stone. And I'm not saying he's cold or, he still has that wee smile on his face. He's still just resting his hand like, his face like this. But he's looking at what Grit is saying like, cool, it's more of his wild going-ons and ramblings. And of course, the moment he goes, it's a conspiracy! It's at that point where you kind of get this almost, just this very brief sort of, from Marat, like he's just like, okay, yep, here we go again. That's really about the reaction. Everything else is just him putting up with it.
Being present at the table.
Yes.
How would one?
Right, these things, they don't just appear out of nothing. It had to be a reason. I don't know what the reason is.
You're
But it
not
had to be.
curious?
Am I curious?
Yeah.
I am curious, but I'm not curious enough to go down there and get snapped up by a beastie.
Don't
Because
get that
I'm not
close.
going to do anybody any good if I end up dead.
Is there something we could look for to see? I don't know what happened to my accent then. Is there
Sure.
something we could look for that would indicate that it had been bought here rather than it getting here itself? Would it have left cracks and tunnels away? Or
Well, I can't say I've ever experienced somebody summoning or cajoling or directing a Bullete.
are they
If you could
creatures made
find
of
it-
stone?
They seem to be part made of stone, like a creature of the element of earth.
So can you talk to it like you talk to the stone? As a
Not
maid
quite,
of
because it's
stone?
still it's not wholly of the element of earth. Like, I communicate with the earth itself, this thing has it's almost like a
beating heart?
monster sort of a thing. Well, there is that. I mean, the world's got a beating heart too, and I can kind of communicate with that, but it's on a whole different, like an elemental being and a creature that's also made of flesh. It's two very different species, you know, and I'm better at communicating with the earth than I am at whatever the rest of the fucker thing is.
I bet it would talk a lot faster.
Oh god, it probably would if it could speak at all. It probably just wants to go, oh, I'm gonna eat your bones. And you do sort of get a Marat, it does sort of, it's like, well, he might have the opportunity to find out because it is Grit that I was going to put as your guide. He knows that section of
I did assume it was.
he knows that section of tunnels better than anyone. At that point, Grit slams his hand down on the stone table, going, "Fuck no! I'm not going back down there to die." It's like, well, you'll have very capable adventurers to look after you, won't you?
Yes,
See,
very.
trust the man with the daggers.
So that does lead me on to my next point. How do we kill it?
You could see Norfrit just kind of like, just like stares down at the floor for a second.
God damn it.
Well, Marat keeps looking at Grit.
Yeah,
And
Vanda's
Grit,
looking at Grit too.
yeah, Grit is angrily with his hand still on the table, half risen up on the stone bench, just glaring across the table at Marat. And he sort of, it doesn't even comprehend your question for a minute until sort of Iblan reaches up beside him, actually pulls him down on the shoulder and sort of sits him back down on the bench and just sort of leans over. It's like, they want to know how you would go about killing it. And it takes probably a good 5 to 10 seconds for Grit to almost sort of compose himself and look over at you. It's like, it's different from any Bullete I've ever encountered. Most of the ones we encountered, we ran from. Those that were killed, they were killed by conventional means. You know, sticking it with the pointy end. In your case, with daggers, probably lots of pointy ends. Maybe from a safe distance. I don't know, you don't want to get in range. Its teeth are like daggers themselves. But this one,
Oh,
it was... When I say it was of unusual size, it was almost larger than the tunnel we were in. Like, its whole body wouldn't fit in the actual tunnel. Most of the attacks that we tried to use to fend it off just bounced off the creature. Like almost having minimal effect at all. I don't even think it really even bothered with us. We were quite simply just ants to it, you know? It
The ones
didn't
you've
even
met
matter.
before, have they always fit within like the tunnel? Are they like usually
ones-
attracted to places they can fit?
The ones that I've seen, Bullets are typically very large. They are very large, but they don't tend to swim through the stone like this one did. They burrow, they create their own tunnels, and for very short times they can sort of phase through that rock. But I've never seen one be able to partially phase through rock and still be able to attack and physically assault others at the same time. But it's more than that. Like, they're territorial. They're instinctual creatures. This thing, it went after the easiest targets. The ones that were going to make the easiest meal. It was a thinking creature. It was smarter. It wasn't just going by instinct. It was haunting. And not just because it was hungry. There was more to it than that. But that, it glowed. Bullets don't glow. I don't know. It was not, for an unnatural creature, this thing was far more unnatural.
Would it have? Do you know if any Bullete come across the specific red stuff you mine? Would that alter it, like what it eats and swims through?
It could do. It's very unlikely. I mean, the red steel really only takes on its properties, as far as we know, when it's actually forged down into the metal. And even if it did, it probably doesn't have anything to do with it, but the glow that this Bullete had was more of a blue color as opposed to a red. I don't know if that's really indicative of anything, but it would seem that something that can be made into a red steel wouldn't produce a blue glow.
Does anything you know of create a blue glow, being in the mining industry?
Very hot flames. Flames introduced to certain gases. Gases, when they interact with certain rocks, can create a chemical reaction, like a phosphorus, that can create a blue glow. There's also certain forms of crystals that can give out a soft blue light. Any form of magical flame you can create to make it blue. There's a whole lot of reasons why it could be blue. I don't know if blue is significant, but it is. Well, it's not
Perhaps-
significant, but it is blue. There it is. That's what I meant to say. Alright.
Is there, other than these stone mages, yeah, is there other very well practiced spell users here?
And he sort of looks over the table towards Marat and Innistra, and he's sort of like, well, there are a few. Not exactly high-profile mages. Most of the mages we have here are of the elemental variety. But there are a number that are practiced in the arcane, and several that are practiced in the divine.
Seems like you might want to ask them if any of them have played in conjuring as a field.
And Marat sort of looks over towards the bespectacled elf, and it's like, Barry? It's like, that's not my name! It's like, Berila? You understand who is here and who is not. Can you, I don't know, converse with Jaw and see if there's anybody within Ruavant that might have some sort of specialization in conjuration magics? It's like, I'll add it to my list. My exhausting, comprehensive, days-long list.
If it helps you,
Thank you.
Barella, we're good at investigating. If you need someone to do the questioning of particular magic users.
Well, investigation would be very good. I'll see what I can do. But it won't be instant. It will take me a little bit of time to compile any of those notes. And I will have to see if I can track down George. George had more of an idea of the personal capabilities of certain people here.
Just to clarify, that name
Yep.
is the old quartermaster.
No.
Oh,
Is the assistant to the
Jor was
The old personal assistant, yeah,
was
yeah.
the assistant to the last mayor, to
Mm.
Mayagoba. The hobgoblin that Frey was talking to.
did the past mayor have any enemies? And I kind of look at Farouz Marat.
He sort of looks over, sort of leans slightly so that he can look around where Grit and Iblan are to see you. It's kind of like, as far as I'm aware, Gobar was well liked by most people. You know, he ran an incredibly smooth town. He looked after everybody. He is the reason why things here are the way they are. Why there's free food and drink for people.
So he
Why
was
the pay is so
successful.
good. He was incredibly successful. But in the time that I've been here, the time I got to know him, he was also just very well liked by people in general. He worked as hard, if not harder, than almost everybody else here. And he always
Sometimes-
strived to make it fair for everyone.
Sometimes people find successful people questionable.
And those same people probably find everybody questionable.
So he's not stood on any toes to get to his current position.
Not that I'm aware of. Although, if you are following up on the question about spellcasters and users of magic. If you are conferencing with Jor, as he looks over at Berilar, it's like, Jor would probably know more about Gobar's personal life than anybody. So if there's anybody you could derive that information from, that would be her.
As the
And he does
female,
look over at you, Fran. It's like, and you are familiar with Jor? You were having a word with her prior. I'm sure she would love to follow up on that
He
conversation.
watched fucking everyone we talked to.
Oh, he knows.
Ugh, I hate
I
him.
do wanna.
If
Do
she-
you know where she's staying at the moment? I would like to send her some lovely cookies as thank you for welcoming me and well, my party into this place.
Well, I'm sure that once Berilar tells you where your rooms are, he can also explain to you where Jor may be, although I would ask that you leave Jor alone for the night, and perhaps wait until the morning, or leave them there. It is
so
getting
she-
late, and Jor is usually used to being a very early riser.
So you would be finding her help invaluable then, being the new bear and her having been with the old one.
Not currently. She's a little bit... Gobar worked in a very particular way, which is not a way in which I work. And Jor was very used to the way that Gobar operated. Her and I have not meshed as well as I would have liked to be able to create an environment where we can work together easily.
Inside check.
But I
Did
am
you
hoping
want to
that,
work with
given a little bit of time, once the pain she is going through settles, and I am used to her style as she is used to mine, perhaps we can come to an accommodation. Because, yes, her services would be invaluable.
18.
I just rolled
Insight
a
check.
6 insight check.
Did you all roll inside?
Except Robert.
I did not.
I rolled
So
insight.
What were you inciting?
I was inciting whether he wanted to work with her or not, or if that is again just him making nice of something.
Okay, and what did you roll?
18.
18? I don't know why I keep putting my dice away, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I keep putting it back in the bag in front of me, and I don't know why I do. It's just like habit by now. 18?
Mm-hmm.
He's not straight up telling the truth. He is being very hesitant. Oh man, how do I phrase this? Like how do I phrase this with an 18 versus what he rolled?
Oh.
He is not personally interested in working with Jor at all. Personally. He understands that this is somebody who does have experience and valuable knowledge. However, to him, at this moment, as somebody who, as you guys have learned, understands strengths and weaknesses, he sees her as far more of a weakness.
Wow.
That is something he cannot mitigate.
He's
So he sees her as too much of a liability, as opposed to the amount of knowledge and what she can bring to the table.
Interesting.
Or is that like a liability to his other business that she might
There is
start
enough.
sniffing
There
around?
is enough uncertainty about why, but it is definitely true that he is not
Thank you.
particularly interested in pursuing having a professional
I know it's
relationship
yours.
with Jor. As to the why, unfortunately, the roles were very, very close.
Oh, fuck me.
So I will give you that no, he is not 100% telling the truth on that one. The why escapes you. So
Okay.
who else rolled an insight check for was there a different reason, or was that everybody was rolling for the same thing?
I was rolling for the same thing. I rolled a 9.
I got a 6.
Okay, cool.
Yay!
So there you go, Nofret, you got that. Everybody else? Oh, yeah, no, he seems fine with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
trust him.
Yep.
Mm.
Totally makes sense.
yeah, makes sense. Yeah, he phrased it in a very good way.
Yeah, that's the thing. He phrases everything in like
He's
a
silver-tongued fucker. Like,
fuck him.
I am
right?
having to exercise myself incredibly hard right now to make this work, and I love it.
I am going to, he says this, and I'm going to say, you have other very capable people around you. Your wife here, can she not tell the fortune of what happened to the mayor and why this creature is here?
So why can she what? Sorry.
Tell the fortune of,
Oh,
what
you're
happened.
talking
I'm
about
talking.
Innistrad.
Yeah, I'm referencing that I know Innistra's occupation,
Okay.
and that why isn't he using that to figure out the mystery?
Okay. And so, just once for me, repeat the question. Now that I know you're talking about Innistrad, because I missed that first part. So
You
sorry.
have very capable people around you to help with this. Your partner here, Nistra, is a fortune teller. Yeah, why can't she tell the fortune of what happened and what happened to the mayor down there?
and why, and if anyone else is involved. Divination magic would be very handy.
And Innistrad,
I'm gonna be like, fuck.
yeah,
Revealing
who has
who
remained very quiet throughout this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Does finally sort of directly make eye contact instead of spending her time, just tussling Jack's hair while Jack's asleep. And sort of looks up and it's like, unfortunately, most of my divination magic, as you put it, is restricted to targets with which I have actually been able to have some form of interaction with. Gobar was not a particularly superstitious man. He was never particularly interested in me telling his fortune, which means that a lot of the things that are specifically tied to him, I cannot have any form of foresight on. I have tried.
Inside.
Go for it.
Yeah, same.
Yep, absolutely. Go for it.
I don't want to believe she's part
That
of it.
20.
Hey.
Oh.
Giving you a what? Because I also got a nat 20.
No.
22.
I man, it's just higher.
Well,
got
given that you
10.
are currently in a form that understands arcane magic, regardless of whether you know about divination or not, that what she said tracks. In a lot of forms of divination magic, you require some form of connection or some item or something valuable or connected to that person to make some form of divination about them. And because she is a fortune teller, because she has never actually had anything really to do with Gobar, from what she has said, it appears as though she is not capable of being able to perform a divination concerning him. And I'm also not going to tell you what my total was.
Fuck.
So whether that is the truth or not,
Jesus!
now that's up to you. Damn. Damn, man.
My god, you're good in that 20. You're like
I've had-
diabolical.
I've had 2 tonight.
Hi,
Oh.
Humble.
Mm-hmm.
I hope your travels are going well. Hi to Sheila.
But yes, what she says does track for divination magic in a lot of ways.
That's a shame. Would have made the whole thing a lot easier to discover, yeah?
It would have, which is why I've tried. Even those who have been down there and experienced it, I've beckoned many of them to my tent to be able to try and tell the truth about what actually was seen. And concerning the fate of Gobar and what actually happened down there, what you've heard is what we've got.
Well, lots to think about. Perhaps we
Indeed.
should retire for the evening.
Yeah, she does actually at this point sort of disengage a little bit from Marat and lean back and say, Karen, I think it's time for Jack to go get some sleep. And you do see this very spindly female elven figure almost sort of separate out from the wall. She'd been standing in a little bit of shadow. Whether she'd been there the whole night or not, you don't know. But very, very thin, almost emaciated. She's got sort of like this curly black hair, and she sort of wanders forward, kind of in this very, like this manner that doesn't seem entirely human. Like there's kind of this almost sort of the way their legs sort of splay out to the side. They're almost kind of bow-legged as they walk, as they sort of come on over, and they lift Jack up very easily for someone of their size before turning and walking out with Jack.
Face spider.
We just look at everyone like, you're a fucking spider.
Oh, not again.
Great. Sorry, I have one more question.
Shit, yes, I'm here. What?
Why do you think it stopped chasing you?
I'm gonna go with the territory thing, maybe. Like, it's still weird to me that we never saw any sign of it beforehand, right?
Yes.
But it's like the moment we got out of that section of tunnel, we got into one of the main mine chambers. It was quite a bit larger. Maybe it was the size of the room. Maybe it had to... Maybe it felt that if it come out into a larger space, it would have been vulnerable. I don't know, but we got out into one of the larger chambers that was a connecting area for that level of the mines. And then it just kind of didn't appear again.
Who was with you when you were being chased?
Who was with me? Oh, there was a large group of us. There was a couple of the other stone mages. There was Fondon who was holding the back line, who I believe you had a word with earlier. He looked very skittish. Don't worry, he's a very skittish man. You're used to it. He'll probably sleep it off and not think anything about it. Of course, there was Marat here. He was leading a party along with a number of the other guards. Those that survived, unfortunately. You know, I mean, that was a good-sized party, this.
Did
Alright,
it get
you went
many
down
of
there.
you?
Sorry, I got two things. What was that?
I got the info.
You go.
I was. Did it get many of you?
Who are you addressing that to?
Grit.
Grit? Okay. Well,
Someone wants to eat.
unfortunately, one of our stone mages didn't make it back. Which is a shame, obviously. As far as the actual miners go, I believe we lost... And he looks over at Marat. Was it two? Two of the ones that went down there? It's like, as far as we were able to actually tell. Yes. It's like, and as far as the guards go... And again, he looks at Marat, and it's kind of like... So like, eh? And it's like... We lost almost half a dozen men down there. And that is the ones that we lost, let alone the ones that have been injured and incapacitated when they returned.
Skylord Jacob, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the exploration. We're playing some Dungeons and Dragons.
Alright, you are, or were, maybe still are, capable fighter. Do you think you landed a good hit on it?
My ego and pride would like me to think yes. But my honest tactical analysis of what managed to happen down there? No. I don't think any blow that I struck was particularly telling to that creature. If it was, it certainly didn't show it.
Do you use a magical weapon?
I did not have one with me at the time, no.
I wonder if that may have helped.
Well, given what Grit has mentioned, and the nature of creatures like that, I would imagine a magical blade would have done a lot more, and honestly, I'm kicking myself for the fact that we didn't take the time to outfit ourselves properly to go down there, because none of us expected to have to fight a creature that might have been resistant to magic. We were honestly just mounting an expedition down there to find the missing miners.
Yes.
If we'd known, then we could have been better prepared.
Was it particularly close to a seam?
It was a new vein. That was why they were down there. It was a new vein that Grit here had established that it was too dangerous and unstable a region to be mining at that time, or required time to actually... what is it you call it? Just, make structurally safe. That whole thing so the thing doesn't collapse on you, kind of like it did, because people didn't listen! Yes, that.
But surely, with the way that people are looked after here and the processes in place, why did they suddenly decide not to listen to established practices when it's going to be this dangerous? And was?
And that is a question I wish I knew the answer to. If you manage to get down there and find any miners still alive, that's going to be one of the first questions I ask them when they're ready to answer. Because not only did they endanger their own lives and go against anything that they were told to do, which, as a former soldier, then they endangered everybody else's lives too by not listening. Anybody else who may have been working in the mines at that time, had they triggered a collapse while there were other people working in adjacent areas, what they did was reckless and foolhardy. They don't deserve death, but they certainly deserve a reprimand.
I don't trust him. I just don't trust him.
And I want to insight check that.
Yeah.
Yep. What specifically are you insight checking?
I'm insight checking with the bit where he really thought about it, like bit back something that he said. That's what.
Yeah, the pause about the fact that, as a former soldier.
Yeah, I'm inciting that bit.
But disobeying orders. I mean, that was what he was getting at. Like, it's a big no-no for a soldier.
I want to know if he is truly angry with them, that he would reprimand them, or if this is going according to an actual hidden plan.
It's a cover up.
Okay.
I want to know if
Interesting.
that's if he's slightly more protective over the area because it led on to other things that could be discovered about him, like set up a guard dog or something.
Okay. All
It's a
right.
guard bullet.
So I got 3 different things.
I got a 7, so I failed. Don't worry about
Okay. Yep.
it.
I got a dirty 20.
Ooh. Okay.
I got another fucking natural.
Oh! That's
Damn.
This is a moment.
Well, sorry, Kaiser. So what was your question? We had 3 different questions. What was your question? Insight checking them about
the reprimanding.
Right. Okay.
Is he actually going to punish them, or is this part of like a secret plan that he actually wanted this to go?
Gotcha. Definitely. What you pick up from your insight, dirty 20, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. It is very much on the reprimand side of things. Whether there is any ulterior motive there or not, the thing that is foremost in that line that he delivered is that, very much like what Nofrit was trying to determine, as a former soldier and understanding that disobeying orders and endangering others' lives is not okay. That is not acceptable. So for him, in that moment, reprimand. Absolutely. As far as any sort of hidden plan, it's almost like the rest of it was too much at the forefront to be able to tell if there was a hidden plan, but that seemed like it is definitely more about the reprimanding than anything else. Like, for the first time since you guys have known him, you've almost seen like this small little flash of anger from him about the situation.
So this was not according to plan.
No, this is definitely not according to any plan that he had.
Yeah.
No,
that's
But
more
he
what I was getting at.
still became
Gotcha. Okay.
mayor
Yeah.
out of it.
Gotcha. And sorry, Hetty, your question was about hidden
Very
area, wasn't it?
convoluted. Mine was more along the lines of is he so angry because of not just the processes and stuff, but it was to do with his other business side almost being kind of discovered and you know going against
The
if that's where
kind of similar to Vander's one, sort of. Yeah,
kind of
not
but
less
it's
about the reprimand and more about is it like a location thing? Is this in danger? Anything else has got going on?
yeah, like
Yeah.
basically does he have like any connection to this at all? You know, the
Okay. So you got a natural 20, which
I
we've
did.
established is 22, correct?
22, yes.
Now I didn't roll a natural 20, but I did roll higher than a 22.
God dang it.
However, because you rolled a natural 20, because I still feel like, unless I'm rolling a direct natural 20 opposed, that,
World of
you should
cool.
get something for it. He is definitely hiding something about that area of the mine. He knows more about it than he's let on. Whether that is the Bullete related or not, but there is definitely a sense of he is in control of what is going on right now. But what has happened just recently, even though part of that is part of his plan for part of whatever he had going on, there is an element of something that has upset that balance, and that tiny little flash of anger that you saw is enough to let you in on that he is pissed off about something, but it's not that. And it's just that tiny little window that allows you to go, hang on. He's angry about something else, and it has something to do with that situation. But because I rolled a higher skill check, I'm not going to tell you more than that. But I am going to say yes, in that regard, he's definitely hiding something and is angry about something other than what he's saying seems to be angry about. He is putting on a show right now.
Oh, we knew it too, you lying fuck.
You little rat.
You
Good
horrible
insight. Hell,
human.
2 natural 20s.
From
Hell,
Hetty.
Hetty.
Goddamn.
Woo!
Man, I'm gonna
Let's
go into
go.
that mine and roll like 3 nat ones or something. You know?
I'm excited. That's so good.
I reckon we go to sleep, team, and we go figure it out.
All right. So that's this. Yeah. So unless there was anything else, then are you guys gonna look at finding where your room is and retiring for the night? Then are you?
Yes.
And
Okay.
asking where the hobgoblin resides.
Although
as
we
well.
have been warned off her for tonight, which
For tonight.
makes me feel very
Suspicious.
uncomfortable.
That's why I'm
That's what I
saying
was-
let's go to the room
That-
and then
that's
we
what I
can
was
do
trying
other
to-
bits.
That's what I was trying to roll for too, but I rolled a 6.
Oh, okay, right. Well, at that point, I mean, one of you can chime up and saying about wanting to retire for the night.
No, Fred does first.
Yeah. At which point, Murad is, oh, of course, sorry, we had a very long journey today, and we've obviously kept you up rather late.
Still covered in road dust, you know?
And if you are going to keep pursuing this tomorrow, I understand a rest is probably good. But we can help organize and outfit you tomorrow if you still wish to follow this through, having discovered what you have tonight. But, Berila, I believe our guests are looking to retire for the evening. And the elf just like, very good. I was looking at doing something very similar myself. If you'll excuse me. Sort of gets his sheafs of paper, sort of stands up, adjusts himself, and sort of turns to look at everybody and sort of gives like this curt little bow, and then looks at the group. So, if you will all follow me, then I will take you to your residence for the night.
Freya's
Thank
gonna nudge Hawk and offer her shoulder. as small as it is, but just
Aw.
being like, "We're going to bed. Up, let's go.
Oh, for
Up and
the
Adams.
for Harkison.
Yeah, up
Yeah.
and Adams. We're going."
Adam
And,
Harkonnen.
and as you're kind of assembling that, you're busy with that. Oh, so I'll give this to Vanda only because you're busy, Frey. You do kind of notice that the orc with the lovely purple hair,
Oh,
Yeah.
sort of who'd placed himself nearby the quartermaster, does kind of lean forward just very quietly and sort of while everybody's focusing on you guys, it's like, and we'll need to talk about what we were talking about as well. All right, things aren't adding up, and we need to discuss this, Barry. It's like, my name is Barry. Like, yeah. We're too good friends to worry about that.
ooh.
But I'm giving that to Vanda because Vanda's got a
Mhm.
ridiculous perception as well, while you're busy with the werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
What was the
Okay.
innkeep's name? Did we get his name? Shiraz.
The who?
Shiraz. Shiraz?
Oh, the orc? Yeah, Shiraz. Yeah,
Shiraz.
Shiraz, yeah. So, as you manage to, once again, gnome handle the werewolf, because I'm pretty sure in this group, you are the one with the biggest strength right now, just because Sekhet isn't around.
Yeah,
Um,
I've got a +2 for
yeah.
strength.
You sort of manage to grab him, and Birilar sort of almost very impatiently, sort of foot tapping. You know, if they had a pen, he'd be clicking it, waiting for you. As soon as you all sort of start moving towards him, he sort of abruptly sort of turns on his heel and starts walking out towards one of the, I think it's the one in the along the long hallways. It's about further down on the right hand wall, and starts making his way through some of those tunnels.
As we leave, I give a wave to. It was nice to see you again, Anister. I'm gonna ingratiate myself with her a little bit.
You got to what? Sorry.
Ingratiate myself, you know.
Yeah. And she just she gives you that sort of smile. It's like, it has been lovely to see you too, and it will be so good to try and catch up if we can. I want to know how your little quest for the girl turned out.
Better than we could hope.
So glad. Have a good night.
And I leave. I just,
Yep.
I'm hoping that Furus is like, oh, interesting.
I mean, do you want to take note of his reaction to that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
You're actually inciting.
Please.
8. It's not good.
He actually rolling a
I'm
dice?
too-
I
I'm
was going
too-
to explain what he did.
Oh, what did he do?
There is just kind of this moment where after that reaction, like he's clearly listening, even if he's not looking at you because you're behind him at this stage. He does sort of do this half sort of slide, so he sort of turns and looks at Innistra, and then sort of turns around and looks at you and gives it before looking back at her, and then just kind of, you know, leaning and giving her a bit of a shoulder bump, and she then responds to that. And he just pats her hand for, you know, he heard the thing about the girl and just seemed to respond in a more positive way than you might have expected.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah. So Birilar, the quartermaster, takes you through what is actually a relatively short journey. So it does seem as though the layout of Ruavant has the mess hall being relatively central to where a number of the people have their rooms. So it's kind of a short walk or crawl from being inebriated and drunk to their, you know, place of rest. But Birilar's sort of clipping along quite quickly. You can tell this elf has not had anything to drink. They are just there is a measured rush to the way that they operate. Like everything is on a schedule and a timetable, and I need to be doing this so I can move to the next thing. One of those very clipped individuals. And so it takes a couple of minutes to get down to this area. And from here, this is the first section of this town where there are doors. Like everything else has just had open archways. So obviously for privacy reasons, people actually have doors in this area. All made of wood set into the stone. And it walks up to a door and then just sort of pushes it open and steps back. And it's like, and this will be the place you'll be resting for the night. If you do go on your expedition tomorrow, please come and see me. I will try and provide you some things for your reckless adventure. Anything you may not have already. I am sorry for the accommodations, but I was informed you only required one room.
That's fine.
And so this is what we have given you. And if you choose to stay longer, if you survive tomorrow, I will attempt to find better accommodations for you.
And
Which-
say we get up early in the morning. You said she was an early riser. Where were the quarters for the former mayor's assistant?
Sure. Well, the other arm of Ruavant is where we sort of keep most of our offices, businesses, warehouses. Any one of the guards can indicate you to where my offices are, and Jor and I kind of share a space at the moment. So if you wish to find them in the morning, come and see me for anything you might need for the expedition, and, well, Jor will be there too, most likely. And if they are not there, then I can direct you to their domicile.
Marvelous.
Thank you.
Very good. There's nothing else for the evening?
No, thank you, Master Bertala.
What did
It's welcome.
I'm trying to
Uh,
ingratiate myself there too.
And they're like, actually, oh, okay. Yeah. People, instead of people
First
calling him,
person to actually say his
instead of
full name.
instead of people calling him Berry, which he obviously hates.
Yeah. I specifically called him his full name and also
Yeah.
Master to just, you know?
So what was Vander saying there? Sorry.
what was it you and Sir Oz wanted to talk about? He seemed very keen on whatever this conversation was.
Ah, you have some very very large eavesdropping ears. I understand. That was supposed to be a private conversation between myself and the Master Orc. But if you must know, as the quartermaster, he and I arrange for the provisions and the providing of sustenance for the large majority of the populace. And he has been expressing some concerns recently about some of the shipments and some of the things not being exactly the way they should be. And he and I need to compare some notes and need to make sure that everything is the way that it should be. Is your curiosity sated?
Extra in.
I don't know. Do you think it has anything to do with the Bullete?
I
I'm
do
sorry.
not
I'm just grasping
believe
at straws here. I'm
so.
just trying to see.
I
It's
don't think the
interesting that-
Bullete has made its way up into our warehouses and eaten stock.
No,
but
I think what he is
don't know the particular tendencies of a Bullete, so I could be mistaken.
I think
I don't
he's
even know if those particular provisions are
implying-
missing. This is why we need to compare some notes tomorrow.
Thank you.
Teething under new management, huh?
Something like that, yes. Very good. I hope you manage to find some rest.
Hi, Frontier.
See you tomorrow. And turns on his heels and immediately starts clipping away.
Good job,
So-
Vander. Good job.
Yep. So the little
Thank you.
room that you have been directed to is a room that looks like it should be occupied. There is a bed that has only somewhat been made after somebody has slept in it. There is a dresser that seems to have changes of clothing hanging out of the somewhat open drawers. There is a tub with cold water sitting in it and some soap sitting beside it. There are personal effects in this room and only one bed.
Time to snoop.
Did we kick someone out of their room?
Most probably, but we didn't kick 5 people out of their rooms, so.
Do they
Whose
hotbed
room is this
here?
then?
I mean, just everyone shares and hops in
Free's
together?
Free's gonna like look at the
Only told one
personal
room, so
effects
Virila did their job.
We
to
can
see
go!
if she can identify who is here. Like who sleeps in this bed usually.
Hello, magical misfits! Oh my gosh!
Hello.
And social pillar!
Hello!
What is this double raid?
Social pillar. What is happening?
Holy guacamole!
Guacamole.
Hello, Henny
Welcome to Raiders.
Pie. Henny Pie? That's a great name. Magical Misfits, Miss Tesser. Hello, Tasty Track, Comeback 36th. And OMGM, of course. Thank you all for
OMGM.
coming. Hi, welcome. Let me do some
Yeah.
shout outs. You guys keep talking in character.
Yep.
Power Ghost Liker.
But yes, the quartermaster was informed you only needed one room, so has provided you with one room.
Hello.
They were given no other stipulations other than that.
Yes, but whose room?
Well, are you gonna go snoop?
You Snoopy?
Yes,
All right.
that's
Well,
what Frey's doing. Frey's
go
sleeping.
go make an investigation check then. Let's see if you can discover something.
Hello, Raiders. Hey, I DM who kept taking us back to a tavern. They kept taking you back to the tavern? That's so funny.
I was gonna ask how your AI game went, but I'll wait for just a little bit.
17.
17 for your
being here.
investigation? Okay.
Hello,
So one of the
everyone.
first things you discover about this room is, whilst it appears to be lived in, it has not been lived in for a few days.
Oh.
Like the old
Everything is in a place, like it's not got dust, but it has that feeling like that water is completely cold. That soap has gotten to a point where it's almost starting to dry. It is. This room has been left
Exploration.
as it is for some time. Part of what is hanging out of one of the drawers is what you recall seeing several of the guards at the entrance to Ruavant wearing.
Welcome to the
So this
exploration.
room
Magical misfits and honey
belongs
pie.
to one of the guards. You don't really find any other personal effects to indicate who specifically this room might have belonged to,
Dry soap.
but you do understand that it has been abandoned for several days, and it belonged to one of the guards.
Is there anything under the bed?
Yes, there is the floor.
Oh, yes.
The sass on this guy.
Don't tell me you wouldn't do the same thing.
I would like to know what type of floor
under
it
the
is.
What
under
type
the
of
bed-
floor?
Under the bed, you find what appears to be a very old and almost ragged teddy bear. That appears to have been well hugged many times.
gotta
As well
save
as a
him.
shoe, as well as a single shoe sitting on its side, which you would like to think has probably also been well loved, but you can't see its partner anywhere, so you're not sure.
Okay.
Shoes must always have a partner to be well loved.
How
Well
long
hugged.
ago did the Bullete attack happen?
Well,
The expedition that went down returned to the surface 4 days ago.
Oh,
This is the room of someone who
oh.
didn't make it back.
mm-hmm.
Yep. There it is. And their personal effects have not yet been cleaned out. So
How's our bestie doing? How's Hawk doing right now?
oh, he has probably been snoring this whole time.
Excellent.
Like you have literally been dragging him down that corridor.
Love that.
Yeah. He is probably the drunkest he has been in a very long time.
Well, we've already been feeding him enough, so he
I've
doesn't
been-
have much food.
Oh, he ate at least 2 full plates worth of
That's
free
true.
food. Yeah, before getting right into the drink. Oh no, actually no, because he did chug back a drink to begin with before eating the food.
Mm.
Yep.
There's layers of booze.
Yeah. Try soap
Oh
on her.
no.
It's like a
Ugh.
booze sandwich.
Oh.
Ugh.
A booze
Sandwich.
All right. So we've had a wee bit of an investigation on the room. We've come to the determination that this belonged to one of the soldiers who didn't make it back.
I get my
What do you wanna do?
bedroll out of my pack and I lay it on the ground. And as I'm doing that, I'm talking to people. I'm just saying.
So there is, unless you guys choose to move the minimalist furniture in here, there is barely enough room for the 5 of you.
It's fine. We'll make it work.
Yeah.
We've slept in
But you would-
bathtubs before.
Are we?
Yep.
Are we having a person take watch
Most
just in
definitely.
case?
I think we should.
That is
Um,
something definitely fishy here.
I don't like that
That's the word, Gum.
Very
Cozy.
John is somewhere else and they probably have information.
You know, we have Hark here. You could send Snip on a little adventure, yeah?
Ooh.
But, I mean, we don't even know where to begin.
Well, we know she's on the other side, right? He said the. What did he say?
No,
What
that's
was the
what
word?
he said the offices were, and we can meet her at the office.
No, I think
He's
her
not
bedrooms were.
sharing
The
a
also
room.
were there. The officers' rooms were there.
He did not confirm that.
Oh, okay.
He said we could go to the office and she may be there, and if she's not, then he'll direct us to her domicile.
Yes,
Such a shame
He was
that
very
just have
cagey.
a cat roaming around
he was.
as a cat.
Strange.
None
There's
of-
a lot of
none of
people in this
us-
town that have been very cagey.
None of us can send a
So
sending
many.
spell, can we? That
Of
would
course
be
I
the
can.
one to do it. We can do message, but message is very specific and they have to.
As confident
range.
as I am in my sneaking skills, I don't think it would be wise for me to sneak out tonight.
No, I think we stay together.
I think there is far too many watchful eyes.
And
Oh, you know, if
possibly
something happens,
a lot of ears listening too, yeah?
Did you
something
hear,
happens.
Evander, about the food discrepancies? That would be a good way to keep your slaves fed if you were provided free food.
Okay, I just said there might be ears listening.
Look,
Yes.
you did.
Yes. Yeah, Hitty's ears were listening, and she's
Yeah.
responding to
No,
that.
no,
yeah.
that's fine. It's fine. Carry on. We'll just,
I don't know. The whole thing, that flash of anger in his eyes when he was talking about the reprimands he'd give them, that was not. I think that is where we're going to find stuff. We need to go down.
Yes, we definitely need to go down into the tunnel.
Yes, Gummy, so we can all die.
Oh, hey, the Baron.
Here's my question now that we are alone in the room, and apparently we're just going to talk about it. So, the bullet, it glowed blue.
Yes.
Do
What
we know
we-
of
what-
anything else that is glowing blue?
Yeah,
since
that's
we
what
got
I'm
to
like.
it?
What magic glow blue?
There is.
Blue?
What cave thing grow blue?
What
Glow blue?
gave the grow blue?
I mean,
Blue.
do you want to make a history check? I mean, there is one thing
Snowshoe?
very recently that you encountered.
Me, I glow blue.
Well, there is that. But as far as a creature, when you first arrived in the Summer Realms,
Yeah.
It was
Uh,
the elk things.
you had the
wasn't it?
Aeronox, which
Aeronauts
were almost
glow
like the
blue.
stag-like creatures, and they had the horns and their
Hmm.
hooves. Their hooves, as like their horns were orange, and as their hooves were sort of hitting the ground, they left behind like this blue mark as they were glowing. That's probably the only thing in recent memory you can think of that had like a blue glow to it.
But
Uh,
but the magic wise, what does blue imply? Blue implies water? I don't know. Is it conjuration? Do we are we thinking it is a conjuration of some kind?
Honestly, I think it's been set there as a guard dog and has been put there by somebody.
Yeah. And it
What
is
if it was
very
asleep?
convenient. It stopped following.
What
did
if
you-
it was always there, but dormant, and then the new minds woke it up? That is why there's no signs of it, because it was not active.
I don't think a creature can just be dormant like that, though.
But is it? It's made of rock.
But it's that
Partially.
big. It needs to have been eating. If a creature doesn't eat, it doesn't live, right?
That is not necessarily true. I believe in some parts of the world there is creatures that hibernate because of things like cold, which is just ridiculous. But I also make sense, you know. We've been in the mountains now. You kind of just want to sleep.
But the stone mage said, the stone knows that they're there. There is the unease in the stone. The stone,
But that's only if it was sleeping inside the stone.
it doesn't even fit in the tunnel. Where else would it have slept?
Maybe them mining, like Vander says, it awoke it somehow. It disturbed. Yeah, it disturbed something.
Fool of a dog.
All I know is
Well-
that they are mining red steel and the sky is blue, so It's conflict of interest otherwise.
Can I do an arcane check to see if there's any magic I would know of that would leave blue traces and glowing and stuff?
Sure. For it.
I have a thing I want to do too.
Yep.
I want to. I tell the others what I'm about to do, and I
8.
meditate and spread my awareness out
Okay.
and seek
So-
water.
Yep. With an 8, unfortunately, you can find that many magics can be manipulated to do different colors.
No Ways Frontier.
So there's no specific magic that you can sort of associate with the color blue. Whilst Sekhet is capable of seeing certain magic schools in varying colors, you're also kind of aware that's more a personal interpretation as opposed to a specific hard and fast rule. No worries, Blade. Alright, so what were you doing off it?
I spend 10 minutes ritual casting locate water.
Okay, so that takes
5
you to the...
miles.
Yep, it's the largest body of water in 5 miles, isn't it?
Yes, I want to know what the underground looks like.
Un momento.
I go humana
The
humana humana.
largest body of water within.
I was so tempted to
5
talk
miles.
about it when you guys were asking him, like, how does he send stone? And I'm like, but I do that just with water. And then I was like, nah, I'm gonna shut up. My Norfret was like, I'm not gonna reveal all my cards. They're my cards.
At
Within
what point
5.
did Nuffret walk over?
Norfret was leaning on a
She was
table
just behind the
nearby.
table, yeah.
She'd been sitting at the next bench behind you. Like she was still
Okay,
there,
so
but
just
she
talking
yeah.
over the. Yep.
Yeah, so that was why I actually literally when she asked Marat, I actually had him sort of lean over
Lean
and
out.
look around
Yeah.
Eblin and Grit to talk to her. So within 5 miles, you discover that the nearest body of water is not underground. It is, in fact, somewhat to the north,
Oh, okay.
and you can interpret that the size of that is, in fact, a river.
Okay.
Yep. I'm not sure if your ability allows you to do anything more than that.
No, it's just that I can sense where
Yep.
the size and nature of the water source. Oh,
Yeah.
but depending on a D100 roll at the DM's discretion is what the thing says.
No, that's all right. It's not that difficult. There's literally a river just north of Ruavant that feeds out into the Markenmere. It
Okay.
splits across the southern summer realms, and it's almost considered the border between the northern and the southern. And when I say Ruavant is literally kind of striding that middle
Cusping.
line, that river
Mhm.
is the middle line, and it's just north of where you are.
Have we come across any crystals that have been glowing blue?
You have come across several crystals that have had a blue glow, yes. And the glow does not, again, seem to be determined by the magic that the crystal contains. It seems completely arbitrary.
Okay. So the mines are not
That would be a
red.
great
at
way to
least
control it if you
As
had-
far as the knowledge you have of how the crystals works, the color seems completely arbitrary.
What are
Let
you?
me just stipulate that.
I tell the others. I say, I don't think the mines are very wet. At least, unless it's further than 5 miles down. The nearest water source is about.
There is potentially, larger sources of water down there, just it senses the largest. And the largest within 5 miles is that river. So, yeah.
River. Because it's very desert dependent. Where there's not a lot of water sources.
No. Except underground.
Mm-hmm.
You can find, yeah. But yes.
I wonder if it would be affected by light.
What, the Bullete?
Since it's a caved river, do you think like a really bright flash of a light would stop it?
I'm
Or
not
moment?
sure. I mean, they're cousins in the deserts. Deal with the sunlight fine. Obviously, they are surfing through the sand,
Hmm.
which is not as much like
Is that
stone and
rock
cave, but
surfer or
Hmm?
rock surfer.
sand shark.
Ah,
Yeah.
I was more meaning the
Oh yeah.
Yeah, now you see. I just didn't want to point out that you should know because you're not supposed
I
to look
really
like you
should
are from
listen
the
to
desert.
Beckett a little bit more.
Mm-mm.
That's my bad.
Frey's gonna cock her head very confused at the fact that there is something called a sand shark. Sand shark.
Vander, though,
Pardon?
you probably are wanting to be. The way that we kill sand sharks, if we have to, which is not often, we avoid the territories where we can. You have to get between their plates, which is not going to be easy with such short blades. Am I correct in that, Quinn? I'm just assuming at this point, but it's one of those. It is a plated creature. You stick it between
It's
plates.
definitely got a very thick hide, and its underbelly is certainly one of the weakest places for it.
Mm-hmm.
Finding a way in between its plates might be standard, but not for a sand shark. A sand shark kind of has like just a gritty, rough-shod carapace.
Like a sand
Like their
paper.
carapace kind of changes depending on the terrain. And so with the sand sharks, it just becomes like this hardened, sort of cracked earth that you can still hit hard enough, but usually require, like, a sand shark would more often than not require a very heavy blunt blow to weaken its armor, to put a crack into it, and then you could follow that up with a sharp stab
when you've
to
got
try
the
and
crack
break into
there.
it.
Got it.
As far as one of the regular land sharks go, you're probably going to find a piercing or stabbing weapon might actually be just about as good as one of the others, provided you can get it on the side as opposed to near the top.
Decide where
I could have made you do rolls for that, but there you go.
That is what I know, Vander.
Okay.
So, something to consider.
But you have also been informed by Grit, who has encountered these creatures before, that this one was
Especially nasty.
different.
Mm.
It was different. It seemed to be smarter. It seemed to have be operating on more than just instinct. It was bigger, and it seemed to have some form of magical capability, according to the glow.
Imagine if it was just guarding its children. They have kids. They should, right? Eggs.
I think everything has
Egg?
kids. Even, I mean, we saw a spider queen who had kids, yeah?
We don't talk about that.
Okay.
Frey's gonna
That's
like
fair.
pout very. But
I do
they
not
lay
think
eggs?
it is there guarding something of its own. Not after
Could it
our
be-
discussions tonight.
Could it be guarding treasure? Could it be guarding people? Could be
I
guarding
think
people.
it is guarding exactly what Marat wants it to be guarding.
Ah, that, yeah, that could be a possibility.
Did we not say that the mines were a perfect place to run the operation?
We did.
You wouldn't want miners
want
to
something-
accidentally walk into some of that.
And something big, nasty, and spooky to be like, "Ooh, stay away." But
And
then
he was
go,
on edge.
"Oh, you've run away."
He is someone who is very in control, but that anger showed that this was an element he was not in control of, and he was not happy about it.
I
Which is
wonder.
another one of those small things that Altan let slip, is that he had seen Marat lose his temper before. He does occasionally lose control, depending on a situation.
Did he say what situation?
It was a situation specifically during the Frostfolk invasion, where it was about people disobeying orders, and a situation that people were in, leading to him. Yeah.
Leaving the
Annoyed at
military.
the miners for digging in that general direction, and now there's an investigation going, and he's annoyed about it because there are people sticking their nose in things that they shouldn't be.
And if everyone followed due process and everything would have been running smoothly.
And if we go down there, he's expecting. This is just a theory.
He's not
Come with
expecting
me.
us to live.
This is all conjecture,
He wants us to
right? It's fine.
die. And be like, "Oh, it's too scary. We need to seal this off so it doesn't." See what happens when you go down in places that you shouldn't. This is an example. We need to seal this place off so nobody else gets hurt. But it's
It's
going
a
to
very
be a
good
secret
excuse.
seal of Ooh, only I can go through here, not you miners. This is just theory, though. It's just something.
I think Feruz is one of those people who is damaged by war in such a way that says, the world is ugly. I may as well be ugly too.
Man, he's
But-
really snoring up a storm. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, he is. We should probably do the same in a second, but it's I don't know. I you guys don't believe him, right? I just want to make sure because he can sound very reasonable. But
He is
I'm
not telling the whole truth.
Oh,
He is getting away with it enough because he is speckling the truth there and he's dancing around it with his silver tongue. But there is a lot he is not saying. Whether it's because he doesn't know us or whether it's because he is very masterful and a mastermind.
The nice assistant seemed like she wanted to say something, but looked in his general direction and hesitated.
and Hark seems worried about somebody here. So
Although
He's
he
not
did
gonna
seem quite
die.
willing to work with her, so.
Hmm.
Stupid inside jokes.
I think that is enough conjecture for tonight, though. Yeah, we should sleep.
We keep watch though.
yes.
I don't want someone coming into the room.
All right. Let's break it down into watches then. Who's doing what?
Bender can do first.
Out in middle.
I
I'll
will
do the
do.
last watch.
Yeah, I will do middle watch. Second
With me?
middle. What do we do it at the same time? Second middle, less talking.
Oh no.
So then is Frey taking the third, or are you just doing 2 watches?
We're doing 4 watches.
Oh, okay. So you're doing 4. You're each taking like 2 hours each.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We're not making
Right.
Hawk do any watching.
No.
We
Good luck
push
waking him
him.
up.
We push him into the wall
on,
at the edge of the bed. You know, like
Rolling.
you can just have that much and like.
Yeah.
He's gonna
Okay.
squish somebody. He's gonna roll over and just arms gonna go out.
All right. So you begin to settle in for the night. First watch. Make me a check. Why not?
Okay. Perception, yeah?
Yep.
Natural 1.
Natural 1.
No, no. You
To a
have.
to- to
Sorry.
a total of 8.
8. Yep. Cool. That's damn good because of your perception. Still a natural 1. But yes.
You should have just used your passive. No.
You know
Um,
what? I'm going to use my crystal beyond sight and succeed.
Yay!
It'll refresh tomorrow anyway, right?
Yay!
Yeah.
Yep. Might as
Might
well.
as well.
Yep. Which is good. Because there is a very, very faint sound within the first couple of hours of the watch
Ooh.
from outside the door. And ordinarily, it'd be very, very difficult to pick up. Honestly, you would have needed to roll very high to hear it, but because Beyond Sight allows you to just automatically succeed. Oh boy. There is the faint
call,
sound
Xander.
of something moving very quietly down the corridor outside. And it is not the footsteps of a humanoid. It is like this very slow sort of
Oh no.
Like an insect.
almost, yeah.
Oh god.
The Discord isn't even picking it up. I'm screeching
No.
like a bullet.
Nothing else seems to be happening. It does stop. But nothing else seems to be coming of it at the moment.
How close was it to the door?
It sounded like it went right up to your
Past.
door. You don't know really whether it went past. It did just stop. But there was definitely a sound, and you're pretty sure it hasn't moved all the way away.
It's watching to see if
Oh.
we snoop.
Just kill me now. I'm having such a good time.
I'm not having a
Having a
good
ball.
time.
Vander,
I
Vander's
wanna
gonna
confirm.
put his hand on Nofret to gently wake her up.
What? Are you a cat or are you a Vander though?
He's a Vander.
Okay, because I didn't know if you went into cat form to do the watch.
No. He'll be
Okay,
a cat when he
cool.
goes to sleep.
Because otherwise it's just like meow.
No.
Okay. All right. Easy enough. I mean, you're intentionally waking her up. Yep.
Yeah. He's gonna very, very quietly think there's something out there.
Does he use hand talk?
Yeah, with what he can.
So you guys-
He is still. Well, he
Oh,
knows a
you
little
both have
bit.
you both have dark vision, don't you?
Yeah. Has
Okay,
a
'cause
half elf.
Otherwise, I was about to say there
He
needs
is
to be a
still
light source
saying
in
it
the
out
room.
loud
Yeah.
though,
Okay.
just as quietly as he can. And I think it's still there.
There's like no windows in this place. We're in a
Nope.
fucking rock
Yeah, we're in a cave.
tomb.
Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
All right.
I want to have a look outside.
Okay, I will wake the others. I just like I like stroke Hitty's hair out of her face and then just like flick her ear a little bit. Just go flick behind the ear.
So you're waking Hitty up?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Hitty,
as soon as she kind of is awake, I'm gonna like right in front of her face with hand talk. Something outside. Stay quiet.
You kind of have this cool little moment in your dream, Hitty, where there's just this very soft touch across your forehead and down your face, and then all of a sudden there's this in your ear that sort of brings you alert and awake. And unfortunately, even though you open your eyes, it's pretty dark in here, and you don't have dark vision, so you have no idea of the fact that there is something in front of your face. All you know is you got a flick in your ear, and that's it, and you wake up to darkness.
God damn it.
Oh no.
Cheers.
Oh.
She's actually just gonna flail out just when she wakes up with the natural like yeah.
Oh no.
Okay, I'm just gonna put my hand over her mouth and like whisper in her ear. There's something outside. Quiet.
Hetty's gonna lick her hand but nod.
I take
Hey, you flick
the,
your ears, fair enough.
I wipe the licked hand, and then I go wake up Frey.
Okay. Sorry, you're going to all end up being awake.
Yeah.
What are you waking up, Harkison?
No.
No.
No? Okay.
Let him sleep.
So what's
In
happening
fact,
now?
I tie his ankle to the bed. No, I'm joking. I don't do that.
Oh no. Don't do it just in case he needs to get out.
All right, what's happening now?
I just want to look. Just make sure nothing grabs me.
I cast Allied Footsteps on him.
Okay.
Going to very carefully open the door.
Okay. Opens
Have a-
slightly.
Have a look around, see what I can see.
Okay. So you push it a little ajar, and you sort of poke your head out. Are you just going sort of like?
Yeah, eventually it's going to be just a head out the door looking around.
Okay. Make a perception check for me.
Okay.
Something you're very good at anyway. So.
I got a natural 20.
There we go.
Ah,
Like, time for you to have used your, your beyond sight crystal.
I know. To a total of 27.
27. It is dark here. You have dark vision though, or no?
Yes.
You do. Okay.
Yes.
There are still lights in this area. And it takes you just a moment to sort of open the door and sort of look around. Before there's sort of this thing that catches you, there's a shadow where there shouldn't be a shadow. And it just immediately makes you go, huh, and you look up. And on the ceiling, you see this large, almost somewhat insectoid creature sitting there with a couple of antennae that are kind of wiggling in the air towards the room. And the moment it sees you, it starts taking off down the roof of the corridor away from you.
Vomit.
And as it does, and it goes past one of the light sources, you identify it as potentially one of the largest ants you've ever seen.
The ants are back! The ant
Yeah.
quest! We never finished the ant quest!
You guys never did the ant quest. The other adventuring group did the ant quest.
Coming back to haunt us like you didn't do a quest.
Oh, Vanda's predator instinct is to chase.
Oh no.
I'm sitting there like with my fingers sitting on my
Grab
temple
by
and I'm
the
like,
scruff.
he's running now. I know where you are.
Are you chasing?
No, I rolled a 19 on my decision check.
So you're not.
He's oh,
Do
Okay.
it.
gonna stick with his. Not yet. Not
Okay.
yet.
Not yet.
So it proceeds down the corridor, and with your perception check, you do see it eventually get to a point where the corridor goes into a T section, and it immediately takes an abrupt run around the corner to the right, and you can just hear those tick, 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 disappearing into the distance.
Can I send my crab out?
You can. Unfortunately, that thing was moving. It was dashing, and I'm pretty sure it has more movement speed than your crab.
Probably.
And we also don't know
So,
what it is
just
yet.
out of a logistical sense,
Ugh.
by the time Slanderous gets to that corner, it's probably already well gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Slanderous does get to the corner, but that's it.
It's yeah.
Okay.
Just
There
like,
is no sign nor sound of the creature by the time you would get there. If Vander had chased, he's got a ridiculous movement speed, so
Oh,
yes,
yes.
he probably could have outrun the thing. But yes,
Gonna shut the door.
okay.
There was a giant ant on the roof.
That's what's
Ant.
probably eating the supplies, you know.
Oh, maybe. This is good. This is information we can bring on to.
Are we doing
Did
anything
anyone-
about it?
Did anyone notice the nanny of Jack that Stara called to take him to bed? She didn't look fully human. Do you think she could be a were-ant or something?
It's something watching us
Is
just
that a
in case
thing?
we go out.
I don't know.
Imagine
He
if we
can
needed
turn
to
into a
use the
cat.
bathroom.
Maybe she can turn into an ant.
Imagine if
Maybe.
we needed to use the bathroom and you saw that.
I know.
How come he turns into like a normal sized cat and she turns into like a fatty sized ant?
That's true. I don't know how it works.
Vander, why aren't you a big cat?
But to be fair, I can turn into a big humanoid.
Size isn't always what is important.
True.
Quite capable with what I am.
That it was that person just watching us just in case we went somewhere.
What if
It-
it wanted us
it
to
was-
follow?
It was right outside the door.
God, if I needed to go to the toilet and I saw that, I'd probably pee a little bit.
I would no longer need to go to the toilet and I would shut the door.
I
For the record, it had a really high stealth check.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
But Vander, with an auto succeed and a 27,
Hmm.
Yeah,
there's not a lot I can do against that.
27, man.
I still propose to the group, what if it wants us to follow it? What if it's like
It didn't make
someone
any.
who wants to talk to us?
It didn't make any gestures. Didn't. As soon as it realized I saw it, it ran. That is not the behavior of someone who wants you to follow.
Hey, do you think Sleeping Beauty would know anything about that?
About giant ants?
Might.
I think the play here is we go back to sleep. And if
Kind
it
of
comes
agree.
back, we are aware.
I think it will come back.
And we ask it why.
Oh my god, his hair is so majestic.
He's so cute.
So cute.
He's just strangling you.
I'm taking Mum with me.
I'll take you with me, Mum. Oh my
I think we're
gosh.
getting very wound up and paranoid,
We
and
got
a
this
proper
thing.
night's sleep would be good for us.
Mhm, mhm.
Go back to bed. I'll finish my watch.
Okay. So is that what you all do?
Yep.
All right. So Vander, you finish out your watch. And who was next?
An hour into his watch, he loses the sensation of me in the back of his brain.
Because of allied footsteps. Yep.
Yep.
Oh, what is that pressure leaving my head?
Stress you didn't know you had.
A conscience? No.
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 No, you got to
Surely
give
not.
that like another 10 minutes, and then.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So who was taking second?
That was me.
All right.
Hetty.
You guys
Yep.
switch over and make a perception check.
— 21.
21.
Hmm.
That's what we'd like
So-
to hear.
During your couple of hours, the biggest thing that you seem to notice as almost like this persistent, annoying, constant droning coming from where you guys pushed Harkonnen into the corner is his snoring.
Oh, I love that.
Getting to a point where anything else that might occur, it's starting to get to a point where it's drowning it out. But the rest of your watch passes without incident.
Is it a honk schnur? Or is it a me?
Oh no, it's a deep
Oh,
It's a
oh,
chainsaw.
throttling, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
My dad had that. And we only had this is a very old batch built in like the 70s. And it had curtains for
Yeah.
doors.
All of the
Oh, boy.
it's all thin as hell, yeah.
Yep.
All right, so who was up next? Was that
I
Nofrit?
spent most of my
Or-
watch like trying to drop things
What?
in his mouth. And
I love that.
And
That's
every-
so
his
good.
nose.
And every time you miss, there's kind of like that twist of the head.
It's just like a lot of sunflower seeds in his mouth now.
He's gonna wake up and he's just gonna spit them all out.
So you guys
And
switch
then
over. Yeah.
I wake up Nofret because she was going
You're
to.
gonna flick her in the ear.
Yes. I am.
Revenge.
Actually, no. I'm gonna do a wet willy. I'm gonna
Oh,
like
don't! Oh my
roll
god!
over my head, my finger, stick it in her ear.
Norfrit's
Oh.
eyes just open and she grabs the finger.
Oh my god.
Wakey, wakey. Your turn, sister.
Love having two sisters.
Isn't it great? We love having you too.
I give her my warm spot on my
All
neck.
right. Yep.
And then like curl up like a little cat with Slanderous like just on my hip. So like I'm curled
right
around
there.
Slanderous.
All right. In which case, Nofrit, make a perception check.
I whisper into my hawk idol. Awaken. And then she comes and sits with me to help me perceive.
Sorry,
But
which one?
she's-
I couldn't quite hear that. Which one was
My,
that?
my hawk.
Your hawk idol. Gotcha.
Yeah, she has a better perception than me.
Oh, you can also make one with your hawk then, or you can make one at advantage.
I would like to rage. I would like to. Yeah,
We all
I,
like a
I
good
will.
rage.
I will make the bird do it at advantage.
Okay.
Right? Complete. Oh, whoopsie. Oh, does that count? Okay, it's fine. A 15.
15?
Yeah, but shit.
It's alright. So your watch, other than the interruption of accident, also goes without incident. It is notably very difficult to hear anything over that snoring at the moment.
Good lord.
Yep. You are in an enclosed space with a lot of bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that snore is obnoxious.
I attempt to put him in the recovery position to get his chest not so heavily on his like
And the
pressed
snore
down.
diminishes
Yeah,
slightly.
yeah.
So the next perception check for the next person will be made with a slightly lower DC.
Yep. Just shove him.
Stop fucking his mouth.
I look
All
at the I look at the drawer of like the soldier for like a sock, and I really think about it. But then I'm like, I think that's crossing a line somehow, and I go to bed.
Yeah.
I wake up Frey.
All right. So you switch over with Frey.
Frey, the snoring's really bad. Can you tell him to stop?
He shoves Park 2 times. Like, as it'll wake up.
It's like a little bit
She just-
puppy.
And it sort of subdues for like that 30 seconds
And then kicks back up.
before it kicks back in again. Yeah. This man has not been drunk for a while. Right, so if you'd like to make your perception check, please, Frey.
25.
25?
Mhm.
So over the course of your night's watch, I've rolled 2 natural 20s for some stuff.
Oh,
I'm on a tear tonight.
God,
With a
who are you?
25. Even with Hark's snoring, you can just, because you've become so used to the sounds of your party members, even though you're in a more enclosed space than you are, you know, there's a little bit of shuffling, a little bit of, you get used to the breathing patterns, you get used to the, you know, bits and pieces. So you can sort of almost tune out those sounds you're used to hearing. It takes you a little bit to get used to Hark snoring, but you can feel that just outside of the room, there is another breathing pattern that is not one you are familiar with.
Ray's gonna get up from where she is very quietly, as
Mhm.
quietly as she possibly can, and she's going to nudge Vander. Just
Okay.
to be like, "Oh." But she's gonna have her finger gestured over be quiet.
Yep.
That is a cat at the moment.
It's like she's just gonna point at the door.
It's gonna change into its hybrid form.
And just to be like, listen at the door. Like, listen near the door. As
Okay.
much as she can gesture.
Right, so we'll roll off your last perception check because you know that there's something there. It's very, very quiet, very, very faint. You do eventually pick up kind of like there is this rhythmic breathing out there, and it's very, very soft. So what you must have picked up on was like either a sigh or just like a sharp intake of breath or something that is not normal, something that is not usual. But as you're sort of sitting there listening, it takes a wee while, but you do pick up on like there's this tiny wee shuffle, like there's something moving just a little bit, like rearranging itself to be a bit more comfortable, and then you do pick up a slight sort of a, you know, another slight exhalation out there. So there's definitely something or someone out there. That's what you pick up, but they just seem to be outside of the door.
Ray's gonna open the door a little bit, but make
Okay.
sure like there's enough room for if something runs, that one of us could run with them.
Okay. So you do open the door, and the first thing you're sort of struck. You have dark vision. You do see that there is one of the guards in uniform standing just across the hall from your room. And it takes just a moment and a couple of blinks for you to actually see that it's Iblan, the new captain of the watch. And he's standing there somewhat at attention, just kind of standing, you know, almost kind of just watching your room.
Frey's gonna open the door more, and she's just gonna be like, "Good morning."
Good almost morning. It's not far off. You should continue to rest while you still can.
You know where the bathrooms are? I really.
Sorry, should have been pointed out for you before you rested for the evening.
Mm.
Just down this corridor, take the left at the T-junction, and it should be the first door on the right.
Thank you. She's
No
gonna
worries.
total off.
Yep. And he just sort of stands there, continues to sort of have his hands clasped in front of him, just sort of watching. You know, you do sort of see, if you look back every so often, he sort of looks down, left, and back right to where you are. Just sort of standing there, just, you know, being there.
Vander's gonna
Sweet.
move away from the door.
Yep.
He's gonna touch his earring and point to Frey's direction. Say, when you come back, check the roof.
Frey's gonna acknowledge that, and yeah.
So after your visit to the water closet, you return and you do sort of take a look. I get you to make a perception check.
That is a 23.
23. There are no unusual shadows or anything else there. In fact, the only thing you really note down this corridor is the fact that, the elven captain is standing there, just at attention, occasionally giving a little roll of the shoulders or a slight shift. You can tell that this man seems to be relatively tired, but he is discharging a duty.
Was it his breathing? that was
Yes.
heard? Like if I took time.
You get the
to-
impression that it was his breathing, yes.
Is he just watching our room or just in general the corridor?
He is placed so that he is opposite your door. So you get the impression, like, I mean, if you were there, you get the impression that he would be watching your door. Yep. It doesn't seem to be, like, there was no surprise or guilt upon Frey opening the door. It was just quite simply a man standing at attention, doing his job.
She's gonna do a little curt nod, as in thank you, and just walk back. Into
No
the
worries.
room.
I will be here when you wake up in the morning to escort you to where you need to go if you so desire. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Frey's just
And
gonna.
you close the door behind you?
Yep, Frey's
Yep.
gonna just do a little bit of a, a check.
Yep. You haven't picked up on anything unusual, any other things of note. It's just quite simply that.
And Frey's just gonna, just explain to Vander that it's just a gun.
Okay. Go back to sleep then.
All right.
And she's just gonna keep watch until everyone.
So, you guys finish your long rest. So you may take your long rest. I will tick the clock over another day. And you all rise the next morning. Oddly, Harkison wakes up not long before the end of your shift, Frey, and just kind of immediately sort of sits up. Is glad that his feet are not tied to the bed. And just sort of rolls his shoulders and gives out sort of like this gruff sort of almost kind of like this cough, like he's clearing his throat a little bit. Eyes up the tub of cold water and just kind of dunks his head straight into it, regardless of how long the water's been there, before sort of lifting it up. And Frey, you can't help but notice he gets just this tiny little grin on the side of his muzzle as he then, with the water, spraying it all over the room.
Oh,
Have your
no.
wake-up call, Casual Chaos Club.
Good morning. Frey's just laughing.
I wake up jolting awake, and as I do, I like put my hand to my chest, and the rock like glows for a second around me as I cast mage armor on myself.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was about to say, I wake up and the
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 knee-jerk reactions.
purple pink like covers me with my my mage armor. 'cause I got three
Yeah, the
casts, so
sisters are like, boof.
And he sort of has this reaction where he looks you out and you sort of see his fur is just a little askew. And he actually just looks at you and just gives out this big sort of chortling laugh. And before he looks at the tub and eyes it up again and then almost kind of remembers a little bit and just sort of like, he's not going to do it a second time despite the temptation.
I'm glad you're feeling more comfortable with us, as I like. Why?
Ah. Sure. Comfortable. That's the word.
Well, I mean, you're still,
I am.
better with us than people out there. Wasn't there
Definitely.
somebody who put you on ease?
This
we should.
whole place puts me at ill at ease, but yeah.
So what did you know about this before coming here with us?
Let's just say
No.
that I didn't realize a couple of the people here might be here. Right.
Well,
I love talking in roundabout ways. It's really my style too. But can we get more to a point? Who? Can we have a who?
Sure. They're captain of the guard? Yeah. No, I know him.
Eblan,
That's the one.
See, Frey's gonna point at the door. Kind of there, apparently waiting. He's gonna be waiting for us to wake up. So if he's really wanting to, Frey's gonna like gesture at like strangulation for like death and stuff. You need to tell us now before we go out there, so we can, protect you.
Or is he like an ex-boyfriend or something?
Or yeah.
No, I worked with Eblan. He knows me. And
Not
we,
in the happy way.
for a while,
What kind
let's
of
say
work?
we disagreed with each other's life choices.
He didn't like your keeper either?
No, it's not that. He's not a particularly religious man. Let's just say he put his faith in someone that I didn't like either. The mayor of the town. Who doesn't know me.
What, the new mayor or the old mayor?
The new one.
What do you know of the new one?
I know that he is a ruthlessly efficient leader.
Is it a bear?
Looked like a bear.
I think it's a teddy bear. It was under the bed last night.
And he sort of slumps a little bit. It's like, all right. I was a member of the Border Rangers for a while. It's why I was at Fort Falling Embers. They needed some extra hands. I had been part of the Rangers, so I offered to give them a hand. I was part of a scouting unit that was assigned to Farouz Marat's brigade, and I was friends with Eblan, who worked with Marat for a long time. I didn't know Marat personally. Marat doesn't know that I'm a werewolf, so he won't recognize me as long as I stay like this. But Eblan does. And he and I had an argument over the fact that we disagreed with the way Marat liked to run things.
I had the impression that Murat liked running things quite by the book. Is that not so?
He does, to a degree. As long as things are going to plan. The moment they don't, you're better off being far away from him. Temper he's got landed a lot of his people in trouble. I and some others didn't really want to serve under a man like that. So we decided to, as soon as things were over, we went our separate ways. I retired from the Rangers. Hadn't realized he'd gotten posted here, nor that Eblon had followed him.
So there's bad blood between you?
Kind of. Like, not bad blood,
So we don't.
but our
well,
disagreement got a little heated.
So we don't have to protect you from him.
Marat never gave a shit about me. He barely even knew who I was. I was just one of a whole lot of faces of people who scouted out enemy lines.
So
Eblon's the one who would know who I am.
So who would want to harm you? Would it be help us help you?
I don't like the way Marat operates. He has a temper. He has been known to put to death people who disobey orders.
So,
was very
not
strict.
a reprimand.
He was very strict. He was very, very by the book. But when it came to punishment, he was one of the hardest men I've ever known. And we disagreed. Eblon liked that strong arm of the law. I didn't. Our discussion about his tactics got heated, which is when I made the decision that I was going to leave as soon as things were over. The argument we had was not pleasant. I told him exactly what I thought of that man. And Eblon told him exactly what he thought of me. Neither of us really came out of that exchange feeling particularly good. I am very wary of the fact that, whilst I didn't abandon my post, if Eblon decides to tell Marat, and Marat finds out that I left the military because of my disagreement with his strict abidance of the law, then it's not going to matter whether he leaves it up to you or not. He will carry out his own form of punishment on me. That's why I was afraid. Because Eblon knows who I am. And if he speaks, then I'm probably dead. There you go. You got my sordid backstory.
That was interesting. Thank you for sharing the tale.
Yeah.
Do you think he was unjust in the harsh punishments? Like, there were steps he could have taken before it got to putting people to death?
Yes. Yes, there were. Do I think he was wrong in executing some of the barbarians who came from the north and committed the atrocities that they did? No. I don't. But the follow-up to that, the way he treated soldiers who disobeyed, the ones who he deemed to be useless, I guess? Yeah. Yeah, I disagree. They could have been transferred to a new brigade. They could have been sent back somewhere else. They could have been transferred into a different unit, something. His punishments were extreme, they were over the top, and they were unwarranted. He has a mark of hatred and anger in him. And when it comes to the front, you want to be as far away from him as possible. And I never understood why Eblon stood so loyally by his side. He was efficient. He was good at his job. His way of carrying things out? No. No way. So if you're going to spend more time here, around him, don't cross him.
Well,
Don't give him a reason. Because he will, without hesitation, order everybody here to kill you. And he won't blink twice.
And if they're all like Eblon, oh, loyal to a T.
You saw what they were like last night. Sitting at that table, listening to his stories, fawning over him. He's got this place eating out of his hand. Does that make him a bad man? No. Does it make mean he steps too far sometimes? Yeah. And when he does, it's too far. Whatever crimes I may have committed, pale in comparison to what that man's done. He served this country and he did it well. He was a great, effective commander, but he was extreme. Too extreme. Which is why I say, best thing you can do is get far away from him.
Does it make sense to you that he left military to mine?
I didn't realize he'd left. Honestly, if he'd left, I would have stayed. If I'd
You
known
heard
he'd left,
that?
he would have stayed. Not now. I'd still do the odd job for the Rangers. As I say, it's why I was at Falling Embers. But would it make sense? Anybody will change jobs for the right reason, and I don't know about you, but that woman sitting next to him? Yeah, I'd call that the right reason.
But she was there with him through his military career. She knew what she was getting into.
Was she?
So I've been told.
Never saw her?
Only in the last days, yeah. But she wasn't part of our unit. She was one of the people we rescued.
Was she?
Yeah. Last days of the war, we were pushing the ice barbarians back to the ice bridge. A group of them peeled off, and we decided to split our unit off to follow them. Trying to figure out why they weren't retreating. Turns out they were a diversion unit. They discovered a small little village along the northern coast, down in a little cove. We went charging in there. And by the time we got in there, Murad had been cautious. He'd decided to not risk any more men, which was the right call. Unfortunately, his caution meant that most of the villagers were dead by the time we got there. We saved our lives. They lost theirs. But that woman, Innistra, she was one of the villagers. She was standing in that village over the body of a boy, standing down against 3 of those barbarians herself.
Was it the same boy we saw tonight?
I wasn't that close, but probably. From where I was, I guess I could see similar sort of skin tone, yeah.
Were you there for his outburst?
Yeah, I was.
What triggered that?
It was a group of soldiers who, after an assault, decided to take matters into their own hands. They disobeyed an order to do what they thought was right. They went and freed some captives instead of pursuing the barbarians, like they'd been ordered to. They saved those people. They should be heroes. But that's not what they were ordered to do. So Marat, instead of rewarding them for their initiative, punished them for disobeying orders.
Killed them?
One of them died of their wounds, yeah. The other 2 survived, although I'm pretty sure at least one of them wishes they didn't. He had them flogged. Publicly, in front of everybody. Viciously, for a long time.
For saving people.
For disobeying orders. To him, that's why he was punishing them, not for saving people.
That's ridiculous.
And that was why I decided I'd had enough and was going to leave. That's why a number of us did.
Well, it's understandable.
And that's why that man... Extreme. So yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hark.
Instead of having coffee, we had some really interesting facts.
Hark. I hate to disappoint you, but we will be going into the mine. And if you don't want to be near Eblan, you're gonna have to come with us.
Or you could always just let me go.
We've sort of got a facade going now.
What, am I supposed to be part of your group?
Once we are down there, we can explain more to you.
You know what? Going down into the mine to face a monster that people are completely and utterly unaware of and have no idea how to defeat still sounds like a better idea than staying up here with him.
Good.
Right?
We will be glad to have your help. And we will make sure that you are kitted out.
And we'll make sure that you're compensated for having to deal with the nightmare again.
And I'm sorry I called the dick a dick.
I may not like his personality, it's his status that matters. I'm not saying he's not a dick, but... You know... You insult somebody's religious leaders, what do you expect?
Well, that is fair. And for
Not
us,
that,
it is
but I have
head of
learned.
tribes.
I
so-
apologize for trying to ambush you and kill you on the road.
Oh, you know,
Accept it.
that was very big of you. Thank you.
Yes, now you apologize for killing my friends.
Well, you look at the time.
I'm sorry for.
I'm sorry your friends had to die for their consequences of their actions.
I'm kind of sorry that I toyed with
Well
them
worth
before
it.
I killed them, but
You know what?
Oh,
just
I
don't follow
really
that.
loved.
You know what?
I really loved that
let's
boar, though. That boar was
That
so
ball
cute.
was cool.
I just start rolling up my bedroll. I'm just not including myself in the conversation. I'm like, nope.
Fine.
Just noping out.
Let's go find John and get some nice breakfast and sort the day out. Yes, yes. Look, I don't want to be in this realm for summer realm for like no.
All right.
You
So you're all packing up for the morning?
Yep.
yes.
All right. So you, in this very small space, get yourself sorted for the day. And open the door to the room where, sure enough, Eblan, captain of the guard, is standing there, hands clasped in front of him, gives you a nod as he sees you are all ready. It's like, I'm here to escort you around for the first part of the morning.
I can
hope
finally
you'll-
say it now. Good morning.
Good morning. The choice is yours whether you would like to indulge in some breakfast first. The mess hall is, of course, open most hours, or we can take you straight to see Quartermaster Berila.
Food sounds good.
It sounds nice.
Very good. With me. And he turns and starts walking down the corridor. You do note, after that story you had with Harkison, Eblan just does not seem to acknowledge Harkison at all. Just doesn't seem to... Like he doesn't even exist. But,
Get
yeah,
silent treatment.
yep. A short journey takes you to the mess hall where you do see a few people. It is a younger human male that seems to be standing at the counter dishing out the foods today. Not the orc. And there is breakfasts, of which there appears to be a relatively decent amount. You may indulge if you wish.
Hey, Eblin.
Sorry, what was that?
Hey, Eblin.
Hello, Norfolk Capri of the Tabasa tribe.
That's me. Do you have an ant problem?
Not as far as I'm aware.
Hmm.
What makes you ask that?
The interesting thing about ants is that they can walk on any surface, including roofs, you know?
And so the reason you ask is, if there is an ant problem, I would like to know about it.
Freak anyone. I just, maybe just like, I don't want to freak anyone out, but you might want to look at the ceiling, every now and then.
Alfred does like to talk in circles.
Mm.
I saw a giant ant last night on the roof.
A giant ant.
Yeah.
Is there an issue down in Cascon about those lately?
Yeah, actually, there was another adventuring group, the ballsy bastards, what was their name again? What's the
That's a
team
name.
name?
Busters.
The
Ball Busters. There we go.
That's also a name. Wow.
Ballsy busters, I love it.
They dealt with that one.
I mean, I know that Innistra had talked about there being an issue down there when she returned from the Kazdrop Festival, but we haven't seen any giant ants that I know of. I'll keep an eye out. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
No, it's fine. We just like to be alert at night.
No, it's good. We don't really need more problems, and if we've suddenly got an infestation too, we'll just add that to the pile. Right, breakfast done? Yep.
Single spoonful of lambless bread.
We were down the corridor. Did we go in the direction the ant went?
No, the ant went the other way. The way towards the, well, the way Freya Elise walked to get to the water closet, but it took a right, she took a left. So, yeah, but that's the opposite direction to the mess hall.
Okay.
I don't have a map of that particular area of Ruavant, so that's why I don't have one.
Nistra's an ant.
Um,
Putting it together.
so as Eblan then leads you out into the big open area out the front of Ruavant again, there is a so we start crossing. Sorry.
Oh, just because it's the theme.
Yep.
Can I insight check if he does know who Hark is?
If you want. Yep.
Isn't he like
Can I insight
daggers
check
in
to
the
see if
eyes?
he knows about the ants?
Yes.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
quiz. Oh, I only got a 7. So
7.
so it sucks to be me, but
You know what? I mean, you would assume so because of what Harkison has said. But given the way Eblan's treating Harkison, you don't know. Like that, it seems
It's really
really weird.
hard.
Like there's definitely a disparity there, but you're not really sure on which side of the fence you fall.
Can I roll
Yeah.
an insight check to see if there's any like any hostile, like I know who you are, but I'm not saying anything.
Any tension between them?
Any tension? Not
romantic
Okay.
tension?
I'm so annoyed that I chose the dumb thing to insight because I got a natural 20 again. So to a total of 24, does he know about the ants?
No, he does not know about the ants.
Okay.
He
This is a
has
new problem.
he has no idea. Like he was genuinely like, what the hell? Okay. Damn it.
I got a 19.
Well, that's some good natural 20s today too. You got a what? A 19 for what was this one again? Sorry.
Just seeing if there's any like tension that is mostly with the
Whether Eblan's got any tension.
Yeah.
Okay. You can
Like,
tell that
like,
he does. Okay, so the things you pick up from Eblan, this man is tired. He was here when you guys arrived in the evening. He was obviously up for a good portion of the night, and then he for whatever reason, being captain of the guard, assigned himself to be at your door to greet you when you woke up.
No, I
So
feel bad for him, but,
He's tired.
That makes me
But
feel like
there
he
is-
wants to tell us things that he's not.
There
You know
is
what I mean?
definitely an element to this man of he is every time one of you sort of speak or you make some sort of, thing, he will definitely sort of look directly at you because it's kind of like this whole sign of respect thing. He's willing to look directly at you. Harkison hasn't said anything, but every time he turns to look at one of you, he is deliberately just glazing past him.
Hawk is dead to him.
So there is definitely, picking up on that, there is definitely not tension, but there is Iblan knows him and is well aware of what is going on with him, and right now wants nothing to do with this man that they may have been friends in the past, but he is not forgiving him right now. He is still hurt about this, and he refuses to give him the time of day.
They'll never make up.
I'm making him apologize. I'm making him apologize at some point. He is going to him, and he is apologizing to
I
this
shipped
poor
it.
tired man.
I shipped it.
Dragging him by the ear.
But
Wet willies.
As you are starting to sort of cross the yard, the thin emaciated. We're about to wrap up. It's about 7 o'clock. The thin emaciated Havel from the previous night, Kieran, with the strange sort of bow-legged walk, does sort of wander over towards the group as you sort of emerge out into the sun. And she's kind of got this sort of almost half hunched down, kind of squinting sort of a look as she's out in the open. And she does sort of wander on up and sort of calls out in almost kind of this weird sort of shaky voice, Eblon. And he sort of turns and sort of halts, and there's Kieran. Inistra sent me. If it's possible, before they go and do the expedition thing, she would like to see them, if that is okay with them.
Fuck.
Is she wearing any kind of collar?
Not anything particularly notable. It's pretty drab clothing. Mostly sort of browns and some sort of washed out blacks. There's really nothing about her that sort of stands out other than the fact that compared to just about everybody else here, she seems very thin and almost malnourished. Like,
I do want to pay a visit to Yuan, if that's okay. I have some cookies I would like to give her as thank you.
To who? Sorry?
To the mayor's assistant, well, the old mayor's assistant.
And the officer Kieran sort of looks over at Iblan with kind of these, like, her squinty eyes kind of go a little wider. It's kind of like, sure. And Iblan's like, I believe Jor is in the offices with Berila. So if you choose to go see Inistra, we can do that first, and then I will escort you to the offices where I believe Jor will be too.
Frey's gonna look expectantly at Nofret.
And Kieran sort of turns to look at the group of you as well, sort of, waiting to see if you approve of this invitation.
How could we deny the lady?
Yes. How could you? Okay. Good.
Inside check. Is she being manipulated?
What are we insight checking?
I want to know if she's a puppet. If she's a slave.
I want to know if she's a slave.
Okay, go for it. But she does sort of point over at the red tent that by now a number of you kind of semi-recognize from the Kazdrop Festival. And then just sort of turns and starts doing her weird sort of shambling walk away.
14.
14?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20?
That's the best I rolled today.
What you pick up from Kieran is maybe not, like, there's nothing on her that seems to indicate she might be a slave or a captive or something in any way. The malnourishment seems a little odd. And even, like, there's a level of her not really wanting to do a lot of interaction that also might seem a little odd, but she could just be one of those people. However, there is kind of this hesitancy about her that sort of speaks more to her perhaps not wanting to be in the situation she's in, whether that's by choice or not. So she doesn't really come across as a slave or a captive. She just seems like somebody who's not particularly happy with her current lot in life. Is, I think, potentially the best way of putting it.
Okay.
Yep. So as she heads over towards the tent, you'll begin to follow. And I think that's probably we will pick up with your meeting with Innistra next time. And just in case, I am going to throw this out there specifically for Vixen. Have you picked up on who that character is yet?
It clicked like just a little bit ago.
Yep.
I think if you look at the board, there's me going. And that's...
I've been sitting there waiting to see if there was a moment where you realized, and I didn't pick it. So I was just like, just in case. Just in case.
I don't know who that is.
I
Yep.
think I do.
Cool.
I don't.
Home time, guys. We're done. We'll see you next week.
Yay.
Home time.
Oh, what a. All right.
I'm going to leave it entirely up to Vix if she wants to share that information. Entirely up to you.
Maybe when I come back after we do the sleepy stuff for little DM, I might whisper you guys some things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Ooh.
because there is some stuff that I believe even when you found out about it, you still didn't tell other people. There was some stuff that was kept very, very quiet. And for you specifically, I'm sure suddenly a lot of things clicked. A lot of things clicked. And hopefully, if you pass it on to the rest of the party, things might click for them too.
Is she
And hey,
aware, Ant?
If you do, maybe we can then share it with the chat next time.
I don't know. All right. Well, I guess.
Awesome choice, guys.
I guess we're going to raid. Who is live?
There's a reason I'm keeping that a bit on the quieter side, Gum. Purely because it's not particularly. Yeah, it's something off to the side. It's something a little bit different. So it's not directly related, but it might be directly related in an indirect way. That makes no sense, but it is what it is.
We're gonna raid Down to Die, as we do a lot of these some days, but they're pretty good.
Yeah.
I enjoy them. They're a fun team.
So you guys all good to go again next Sunday? 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, bloody am.
Yeah.
I think so.
I'll just have a discussion with Ben and I'll get back.
Yeah, because next
It's
week will be our
probably gonna be
normally
like a
scheduled.
thumbs
This was our off week. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we're gonna
And yeah, try
squeeze,
to squeeze in as many games before baby
Yes.
squeases out.
so we
Yes.
can finish this
That's
arc,
also
so
why
we can
I
go
am trying to
kill
spin
a
through some
bullet.
of these conversations a little quicker than I would ordinarily, just because I do want to get you guys into the meat of it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I
yep.
feel the meat coming.
Yep.
We've had the
Cool.
appetizer.
Hi.
The main is on the menu.
We love you, Perd.
We love you, Bird. Thank you for the art again. All right, everyone.
Yes.
Stay spicy, stay feisty. I'll see you on a big exploration later this week. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.